Hi, magandang gabi. Maghintay muna tayo. Wala pa. Share ko sa Facebook. Yes, ngayon ay we're just going to talk about when enough is enough. There's so many enoughs. Not sure eh. Hey, I sent you a hold up. Pinoy. Oh, wait. Where is the... Just give me a second. I'm going to send a... Hold up. I'm lost again. Wait. Copy invite link. There you go. Okay. Here is your... Yan. Oopsie. Hi. Naririnig niyo ako? Thank you. Hi, Aramina. Good morning. Magandang tanghali. Ay, Aramina, nasa Japan ka, di ba? Hello, Pinoy Breezy.
What's up,
guys? Eto, thanks for... Alam mo, may ano tayo may expected time visitor. I think at Mayor June probably will join us tonight, and I think Sharon will also join us. Na-meet mo na ba si Sharon, PB?
Hindi. Bakit? Namimigay ba yun ng pera?
Hindi.
Hindi naman pala eh.
Yeah.
Ako'y namimigay ng pera.
Ay, si Aramina pala nasa Tokyo. Naririnig mo yung music ko? Sana hindi ako makopyright.
Bakit ka nag-LS? Dahil ba bagong gupit ka?
Ano ka ba? Hi, Maida. Si Maida nasa California. Yan. Good evening kay Maida.
Kaya ka lang yata nag-LS dahil meron kang bagong gupit ka. No? Ito, yabangan ba to? Yabangan?
Hindi, PB, nainggit ako sa kanila kasi di ba nagpa-parlor sila kay Boss Mike.
Dapat nagpa-highlights ka, yung rainbow.
Hindi, gusto ko yung purple.
Capital F. Purple.
Purple. Yeah. Yung tipong para kung kalamay na ube, ganon.
Ang matindi dito, nag-straight ka. Alas 10 ng gabi. Matindi.
Hindi yan straight. Ano lang yan? Siyempre, pag nagpa-parlor, hindi na talaga, long overdue na yung pagpapa-haircut ko. Di ba nakita mo sa ibang picture ko, ganito talaga yung ko. Hi, Big Noob! Shout out sa inyo dyan sa baba.
Sinabihan lang kita ng exotic, nagpaganyan ka pa talaga ng kwan.
Exotic
Hindi
talaga.
ako may sabi na nasa Iloco Pinoy pambili.
Exotic animal.
Shoutouts kay Big Noob at kay Maida Tikia.
Hindi po ako nagpa-reban, nagpagupit lang ako ng buhok.
Yung,
Tapos, binlow dry lang
nakikidaan
yun na.
lang ako dito, wag niyo ako ibabash ha.
Walang magbabash sa'yo. Nasaan yung ating mga ano? Naghihintay po tayo. Let's see. Yung mga kung nag-message sila sa akin. I know they're let's see if I have a message.
Nakaka-distract yung buhok mo, Ate Mia. Bagong-bagong tabas. Nakakahiya naman.
Ikaw talaga lakas. Alam mo nagbablush na ako dito. Ano ka
Bago
ba?
ba yung setup mo? Yan ba yung setup mo? Yung mic din nasa leg mo? Yan, part yan? O hindi pa?
Hindi to. Alam mo magkano lang itong microphone na to? $10 lang.
Wala naman yan sa mic, nasa buhok yan.
Invalid meeting ID daw. Bakit kaya?
Shout out kay Reo Tonta. Ang taray-taray nitong host na to.
At
Nagpa-ayos pa talaga para sa LS na to. Gusto lamangan si Sharon.
hindi.
Sabi ni Biglo, magpakita ka na kasi ayoko magpakita. Mauubusan ako ng subscribers.
Bakit ganun?
Sino Sharon yung invited mo?
Si Sharon.
No,
Navila.
Hindi invite. Paano mo ba dinrap yung link mo?
Sa sa Messenger.
Baka umi-style lang, ayaw talaga umakyat.
Wag kang ganyan. Hindi, nandiyan na siya nagme-message nga sa akin.
Joke lang po ha, baka narinig niyo ako ha. Joke lang yun, pabira.
Ano yan, Sharon ko narinig mo si PB, yan ay joker. Teka i-copy ko ulit yung link ha, saglit. Bakit ganun?
Sabi ni Supervisor, ganda ng bago mong buhok, Mia Vlogs. I know.
Salamat.
Bago yan. Pag minsan si Mia, kala mo bagong gising lang lagi. Ngayon, kala mo bagong ligo. Alas 10 ng gabi.
Oy, alam mo ba na bago ako mag-live stream, naliligo talaga ako.
Hindi nga, kaya pala amoy na amoy ka namin.
Oo, naliligo talaga ako. Para bang feeling ko nandiyan kayo sa tabi ko.
Shout out kay Ariel Gonzalez /26. Reo Tonta, akyat ka rin. Alam ko, bagong gupit ka rin eh. Pangit naman pag bagong gupit. Bagong hairstyle. Ay, Aramina, akyat din kayo.
Teka, baba ako ng link dyan ha.
Akyat kayo. Ang gagandang babae nito, nahihiya umakyat. Amiya, galing kami kay Kuya Noy. Yan yung si Kuya Noy. Si Cute, Litan at Nonoy.
Talaga?
Galing kami doon. Dami namin doon.
Cute Litan at Nonoy. Hello, shout out po sa inyo. Hi, Elaine, Liana, shout out.
Si
Jargon.
Elaine, malay mo gusto umakyat na Elaine.
Teka, paste ko yung link. Akyat kayo.
Shout. Pansinin niyo po yung bagong gupit ni Mia para wag po siyang mapahiya. Gusto niya po yun eh. Gusto niya nasasabing ang ganda ng hair niya.
Hindi po. Kahit hindi po batiin ang aking buhok, ay okay. Ay, Hi, Jargon26. Shout out sa'yo. Supervisor. Thank you. Ayan, si Supervisor binati na yun. Wag naman, nahiya ako. Hi, Mutated Genome. How are you? Ayan, secret fan ko. Si Mutated Genome. I love you.
Ang sarap tumawa ni Mia. Exotic.
Thank you, Jargon. Yeah. Pinaghandaan daw. Hindi po ako, so nagtatanong, di po ako nagpa-reband. Ano lang niya, binlow dry lang ng sabi ni Gandara, hi, shout out Gandara, if I'm in Japan. Wala po, nasa Texas po ako.
Texas, Japan.
Ako dito, nagpa-park ako ng mga horses. Hindi ng car.
Bakit ang daming nasa Japan? Si Aramina nasa Japan, Gandara nasa Japan.
Ikaw ba, Gandara, nasa Japan?
Kasasabi lang niyan, di ka ba nagpe-pay attention, host? Ano ka
Ay,
ba?
hindi
Pambihira
eh.
talaga.
Alam
Kaya
ko,
ka
tinanong,
nababash eh. Wag po kayo magalit kay Mia.
hindi. Alam ko tinanong niya ako kung ako nasa Japan. Pero hindi ko alam kung siya ang nasa Japan.
Yabang ni Kuya Noy, oh. Alauna ng madaling araw, naka-shades. Anong kabulastugan niya, Nonoy Lopez?
Di, umakyat lang ako
Ay,
para sabihin maganda yung maganda yung ano niya, maganda yung buhok. Okay, bye. Bye.
gano'n. Alis ka kaagad. Ganun lang yun.
Tulog na ako.
Kuya Noy, teka lang,
Ah,
Kuya Noy.
Teka,
Kuya Noy,
hold
hindi
up.
ko napansin, hindi ka
Ano?
lang naka-shades. Naka-suit ka pa.
Galing ako sa trabaho eh.
Napakataray mo.
Yes, passcode 02153.
Romy Richard Gomez. Nakasuit pa pala yun. Kala hindi ko napansin kanina.
Oh. Yun.
Doon kami nakatambay kay Kuya Noy kanina eh. Ang
Nag-live
topic,
stream.
bastusan lang.
Bawal dito yun. Tapos na kayo, no?
Hindi pa. Kaya nga kami lumipat dito eh. Dito namin
Ay,
dadalhin.
PB, nako, wala. Ayan, si Sharon, nanghingi siya ng passcode. Ba't nahihirapan siya umakyat?
Baka iPhone ang gamit niya.
Ay, ganon. Ba't ang dami kong open na Facebook, Ayan na. Alam ko si akit di si
Ay, Elaine, umakyat ka.
Ayan.
Hindi na siguro ako mag-LS kasi dito naman si Mia eh. Tapos galing pa ako kay Kuya Noy. Bukas naman, pahinga rin pag may time.
Balik ako. Ay, teka. Ay, napatay ko yung YouTube ko.
Ha?
Napatay ko yung YouTube ko. Ayun.
Nanonood ako ah.
Hindi, I mean yung sa akin, hindi ko nakikita yung mga Hi, SKL Vlog! Shout out sa inyo. Teka, balikan ko. Hi, shout out to Adoration Dimaranan. Thanks for coming.
Delayed ba ako? Ano yung binabasa mo? Ba't di ko nababasa
Hindi.
yung nakikita mo?
Bumalik ako. Nag-scroll back ako. Kasi di ba napatay ko yung YouTube page. Ang bagal doon ng net ko. Bakit kaya?
Hindi naman ah.
Sabi ni bagal ng net. Parang siya oh.
No,
Baka
delay
sa
lang
Zoom.
yan. Delay lang yan ng transmission. Siyempre delay yan ng ganun katagal.
Sa YouTube. Pag pala sa YouTube ako tumingin.
Yes.
Saan si
Ayun na si Sharon.
Ayan na. Ayan na si Miss Sharon. Hi, Miss Sharon! Good evening!
Parang
Ay,
parang I woke up like this
Ay,
too.
hindi. Ay, nagko-connect pa ng audio si Miss Sharon. I'll wait for Miss Sharon. Ito nga ako mag-YouTube sa iPad ko para makita ko ng Nako-confuse ako sa
Fresh si Madam Sharon. First
Connect
time
na
ko
ba
lang
siya?
nakasabay siya sa taas.
Ayan, papakilala kita.
Wag na.
Oo naman.
Kaya ka pala nagpaayos ng buhok dahil kay Sharon.
Hindi
Arte-arte mo. Sarap mo sapukin.
Hindi. Ay, huwag kang ganyan. Ano ka ba?
Shout out, Tochikis. Andito na si Tochikis, bagong ligo yan.
Hi, Miss Sharon! Magandang araw sa'yo. What time is it now in Australia?
2.
Ay, 2 p.m. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Have you met, PB, si Pinoy Breezy?
I've heard of him, pero
Yeah.
no, not face to face. Lagi siya
Yeah. Yeah, you will not have a face-to-face because he doesn't have a face.
Mahiyain ako, Sharon.
Okay, please explain. No, it's okay lang. Ako din mahiyain din ako.
Ako din, mahiyain din ako.
Parang
Oo.
bagong hairstyle mo rin, Sharon.
May ano lang ako. My
May
head.
headset.
Yes.
Oy,
Yes.
we'll just do some hi Tochi Kicks, thanks for stopping by. Ang batang laging handang tumulong. Hi Lola Patola, kamusta?
Hello,
Si
Lola Patola.
Yeah, Lola Patola is there. Si Rio Tonta.
Yes.
Thank
This is
Shoutout sa inyong lahat sa baba. Si Miss Sharon, kilala niyo na si Miss Sharon, pero we're not talking about kasi ang dami niya ng mga interviews, so I'm sure alam niyo na yung mga kay
hello.
Miss Sharon. So we're just talking about yung topic natin ngayon, yung mga
Di pa, ulit mo ulit.
Oo.
From the start para
No,
umabot ka ng
we're
5
not going
oras.
to talk. Oy, pero alam mo, hindi, I'm not going to ask her anything personal. Dami na. Kung gusto nyo, panoorin nyo na lang yung mga vlog ni Boss Mike. Tapos yung mga ano kayo, mag-team reply kayo ng mga past interview niya.
Yes, kay Iron Rock, kay Sir Doc Kelly, at saka kay Miss Awe Becker. So,
Yeah.
panoorin niyo sila po.
Oo.
Maganda yung mga interviews. So,
Yeah, maganda interview. So we're not going back there. Ano lang natin si Miss Sharon ngayon, parang as a kaibigan. Kasi ang tagal ko siya hindi before, like we met on sa radio station ni DJ Yui, tapos doon kami nag-met. So ang ano ko lang I still give credit to Miss Sharon kasi yung katapangan niya doon sa kanya mga mga interview niya, it's not easy. So salute to Miss Sharon.
Hindi naman ako matapang. I just, when it comes to unfairness or injustice, lahat tayo, di ba? There's certain point in our personality na we have to stand up for what believe is true, or at least to answer those people na need to para bang to answer sa mga pagkakamali ng mga ibang tao, especially kapag may experience ka na there's been a person in your life na parang nagkamali tapos parang walang consequences.
Second. Oh, yeah.
Sa mga you know what I mean, parang after a while, it's not just the first or the second or the third, you think, hang on, wait a minute, sinong may kasalanan? Pinabayaan ko ba, or did I just allow it to happen? And then when you start to reflect on yourself, there's changes in you as a person to think, okay, no, I don't want to be a victim anymore,
Yeah, that's para yung topic natin na enough, it's enough. So I have to say something, it's enough.
Yes, that's true. Especially people who are giving. So yung mga taong talagang always matulungin, always in the service of others, ready to face anything with them. Tapos you expect na it will be reciprocated sa iyo, tapos hindi naman nangyayari because your expectation mo sa mga ibang tao, because you don't think like them, at saka wala kang masama and your intention are all good, ikaw ang nasasaktan. So sometimes you have to put some form of boundaries between you and the next person that will come along into your life. So that way, hindi ka parang a little bit of distancing, it's not just social distancing but emotional distancing. So,
yeah, because parang ano yan minsan yung minsan alam mo sa mga 'di ba parang sa mga babae, they have parang kailan nila sasabing enough, like if they are been in a situation where they've been abused, whether they are married or in a relationship, emotionally abused or physically abused, when they would just say this is enough, like
intellectually as well. Sometimes when you're manipulated all the time, brainwashing comes into it. So when you get to that degree of abuse where your mind has been played with, that's the hardest part. The physical part, you can heal from all the wounds, from all the battering and the bruising, the cuts and everything, black eyes, things like that. You can deal with those physical pain. Pero kapag mental pain, mental abuse, it's really, really hard because
Yeah.
affects you internally, yung confidence mo, your self-esteem.
Yeah. Self-esteem will be affected as well.
Exactly.
Oy, yung mga nahihirapan sa English, taas lang po kamay, tatagalogin ko po.
So, we'll try to speak in Tagalog, but I'm sure a lot of our audience can understand English. But
Yeah.
as much as possible, we'll, okay.
Sorry sa people below, kasi sometimes what happens is that, especially when certain topics like this, because I'm limited to my Tagalog,
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
don't know what abuse is in English or in Tagalog.
Yeah.
So I apologize.
Yeah, usually they can understand, the word abuse. Yeah, it's parang common term in English naman siya.
Yes.
Oh, shout out, Miss Sharon, meron ako si shout out na nasa trabaho siya, nakikinig siya ngayon. So, shout out kay Jonel na nasa work ngayon at nakikinig sa atin ngayon.
Hi, Janelle.
Jonel, yeah, si baby Jonel, ang aking kaibigan. Hi, VR46, Kuya Semper. Shout out sa inyo.
I'm
Yes.
also willing to answer any questions you might have while I'm here. I will answer it as honestly as possible.
Yeah. I think it's
sanay ka sa question of physics.
or math.
Limitations. Yes, I was pretty good. My favorite was calculus. But
Calculus,
wow.
Pas ako dyan, pas.
Tatakbo ako, magaling pala sa math si Miss Sharon.
Mathematician pala to si Sharon.
Yeah, I haven't touched math since I finished school, so that was a long time ago. Way back when.
Sharon, bakit parang fresh na fresh ka ngayon?
Ako fresh? Actually hindi nga.
Hindi, si Mia yung fresh. Pambihira.
Fresh ka daw. Naligo lang ako. Naligo lang.
Oh, pag umaakit ka ng CPRM, hindi ka naliligo kasi ngayon fresh na fresh ka eh. Pambihira.
Alam mo naman kasi you never know baka maamoy ng mga
Ako dahil yun ang feeling ko pag bago ako mag-airs naliligo ako, feeling ko maamoy lang pag hindi ako naligo.
Buti naligo ka, Sharon, kasi si Mia nagpaayos pa ng buhok. Pinaghandaan niya to.
Sinuklay ko lang.
Alam mo, Sharon, you have to get used to PB kasi siya, basher talaga siya. Yeah, number one basher ko. So, nasanay na ako sa kanya. I got used to his...
In fairness kay Mia, naka-blush on alas 10 ng gabi. Shout out sa mga naka-blush on ng alas 10 ng gabi.
Kasi, hindi lang yan, namula, ginanyan ko lang yan, PBO.
Maganda ka, Mia. Maganda ka talaga. When I met Mia for the first time, pinaiyak niya ako, I remember.
I know, I remember that. Because I really do appreciate you because what you did is not easy. Okay, balik tayo sa Tagalog. Kasi sabi na hindi na ako magaling mag-English eh. Because sometimes, kasi parang, minsan, napapa-English ako and then, kailangan ka bumalik ng Tagalog, parang ganun. Kasi, di ba, most of the time, yung mga, listener natin is, nasa Pilipinas. Pero, tsaka mga Pilipino. Pero anyway, yung talaga, until now, ay, alam mo, sa totoo lang, ay, pag mga kasi parang di ba, nag-uusap naman tayo sa Messenger before, we do exchange messages. So, I treat you as my friend. Tapos, pag may mga, kung may mga comment ako na nababasa, kasi ganun ako sa kaibigan ko eh, kasi masyado akong personal na, kapag nakikita ko yung mga comment na hindi maganda about sa'yo, parang, alam mo, sinasabi lang, peki ka, you're a fake, you're not real, or what. Sabi ko, itong these people doesn't know you, or itong mga tao na to, hindi ka nila kilala, kasi, nakita ko talaga yung, alam mo yun, minsan masisense mo yun pagkausap mo yung isang tao na, alam mo yung may vibes agad kayo, you have a good vibes to each other. Tapos ako, naramdaman ko yun sa'yo na you're sincere. Tapos pag sinasabi ng mga tao na peki ka, hindi ka real, or you're just making up stories, na parang nasasaktan ako, parang gusto ko mang-away para sa'yo. To be honest.
The funny thing was, when I was hearing all of that, it really didn't affect me too much because I knew that they didn't know me. They can judge me as much as they want. At the end of the day, the people that mattered sa akin ay yung mga family ko at saka mga close friends ko.
Yeah, same thing with me.
Yeah, the ones that mattered the most are the people na talagang close sa akin.
Kilala ka, yeah.
But the others na hindi ko sila kilala, they can say whatever they want to say, pero wag nila akong bastusin because
Mhm.
you know, as I said, when we were talking about yung topic earlier about boundaries, you know, there are certain limitations. Kahit na yung sasabihin natin, oh, it's a freedom of speech, may, you know, may,
Mhm.
you know, dapat may mga preno din tayo sa mga bibig natin.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because words can cut deep. And it
Mm.
can also cause death. So there's something na we have to be accountable for sa mga sinasabi natin na you don't know
Mm.
ang mga mental state ng mga tao, especially mga pandemic, you know, or you don't know kung
Mhm.
suicidal na ang isang tao tapos you're pushing the envelope
Mhm.
na baka magpakamatay sila. Whose responsibility will that be at the end of the day? It's like bullying
Mhm.
the school. It's the same thing outside of, you know, especially
Mm.
ngayon sa social media, lumalaki, you know, parang they
Mhm.
think na walang mga boundaries, na walang mga limitations, you know, at the end of the day,
Mhm.
yung freedom of speech natin, yung
It's
freedom of
true.
expression natin, yes, there we can say whatever we want to say, but we are limited within the law. That's why meron tayong
Mm.
mga tao sa mga social media or even sa broadcasting media, sa newspapers,
Mhm.
publications and everything, may retraction tayo, you know,
Yeah.
so to avoid lawsuits for defamation, you know, so you know, people need to be careful sa mga even yung mga comments nila.
Yeah.
You know, just I'm not warning anyone, but that is just in general na
Yeah, I agree with you. Parang ano, we're here in social media, and parang yung influence natin kasi dapat i-level up natin yung ano. Well,
especially
hindi mo
so
naman. Pero may kanya-kanya rin naman kasing pote. Like, for example, yung sa part nung mga tawag natin kalabasa, di ba? Tapos parang enough na yung mga fake news nila. Ngayon, may bago na naman lalabas na kesyo yun daw yung Norman Mangusin. Alam mo yun, I don't know if you heard about that guy na parang ano, he's claiming that he is the Norman Mangusin. I think nasa Italy siya. Parang they just continue to making up stories para lang makapagpatuloy yung
yeah,
panloloko
what is
nila.
what that is called is rubbing salt in the wounds of other people, especially yung mga
Mm.
victims. What happens is that we're talking about responsibility, di ba? You know,
Mhm.
yung isang tao na sa kulungan na let the justice do its job. At saka they
Mhm.
don't realize the severity of what they will share sa social media, especially public. It can also delay or it become a detriment sa ano nila, the person that they're actually fighting for or defending for.
Mhm.
No? So mag-ingat din sila.
Yeah. Oy, shout out din natin, may bago natin si PJ Aragon. Ano, thank you for the 18 million na nanonood sa atin ngayon. Ano lang, tanong ko lang, Miss Sharon, kasi alam ko, ano, siguro I'm sure you will be, or you were interviewed before, para lang for the benefits ng mga nakikinig sa atin ngayon. Kasi alam ko si Sharon, kaya parang nagkakilala kayo ni FLM before is because yung sa mga charity works mo, yung you're willing to help others, diba? Through that, kaya kayo nagkakilala. Pero yung nature ng job mo is, are you in banking or?
Yes. Yeah, my actual in banking and finance ako. So,
Sa
yo,
banking and finance ka.
over 15 years experience ako eh. Yeah.
Kaya ka pala magaling sa math. O yung mga ano, wag tayo magtatanong hindi pala. Pwede pala tayo magtanong ng math sa kanya kasi magaling siya sa math. You know,
No,
please. Miss Sharon, may tanong dito si Iloco Pinoy. Usually, partner natin siya. Kaya lang, siguro may problem siya sa, I think, sa nagpa-dentist or something.
oh,
Sabi niya, pakitanong daw sa'yo, may message siya sa akin. Sabi niya, when is the time na na-realize mo na si Norman Mangusin ay merong narcissistic personality disorder?
when I broke up with him.
So when the time that you broke up with
Yeah,
him.
kasi may mga personality siya that I couldn't put my finger on. And ako, being as a curious person by nature, I really did certain research on yung behavior niya. And I just wanted to seek some answers until I came across a clinical psychologist that has studied personality, narcissistic personality disorder
Is it so?
NPD. So tapos I started to find out yung mga yung symptoms, treatments, and things like that. Tapos I then started to revise in my head yung mga behavior na pinakita niya sa akin, at saka yung the way that he pursued me relentlessly, na he can't take no for an answer, that kind of thing ba, na that's part of his personality. So and that's part of some of narcissistic traits, right? So yun, tapos nag-curious ako until I started to follow itong clinician. She's like, she's a licensed psychologist, until I started to understand a little bit more. So now, guys, disclaimer lang, this is just more or less my own research, and I'm not diagnosing or treating Norman Marquezine as such, but sa akin talagang yung findings ko is, parang is it tugma? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, it's match or tugma. Yes,
Tuldok,
nagtugma.
tuldok,
But that's
tuldok.
not necessarily coming from a professional diagnosis or anything like that, because to diagnose a person with a narcissistic personality disorder, it needs a lot of psychological treatment yan. Sometimes even a professional or a seasonal psychologist or psychiatrist, it takes them a long time to find out the person's personality, whether or not they have that narcissistic personality disorder, only because you have to show at least 7 to 15 different behaviors of narcissism before they can
Yeah,
diagnose someone.
yeah.
Kasi lahat tayo, that's a form of
Ang
narcissism.
ganda naman nito ni Mama Sally. Nakaka-distract ang beauty ng timidora
Ano
na
I
to.
scared her this tonight, ha?
Ay, papakabog ba ako kay Mia Vlogs? Hindi
Kimidora.
Mama Sally, bati ka muna tapos
Jum! Hello, Sir Jum! Hello, Sharon!
Kimidora naman to si Sally. Na-content ka lang ni Kent Garcia. Gumaganyan ka na. Magkamukha
yeah,
na kayo
that's
ni
Lola
Mia.
Patola. And si paakyat din si Mayor Jun. Teka, shoutout lang natin si Doktora Ponggay. She's there. Thanks for coming, Doktora Ponggay. And tapos may babasahin lang ako dito. Sabi ni Aramina, sa panahon ngayon, being good to everyone is being mistaken as kaplastikan. Hindi ba pwedeng gusto mo lang ng tahimik na buhay?
Yes.
Tama. Then tapos sabi ni Girlie ulit, ako araw-araw, minuminuto sinasabihan peke ako, tawa lang, hayaan lang silang makoma sa galit. Wapakils daw siya.
The question ko daan is explain yourself. What do you mean by fake? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ang daming fake here, fake there. What do you mean? Like, you know, sometimes tayo, right? Kahit tayo, there are certain things na we don't want to show other people. Diba? So we reserve ourselves. That doesn't mean that we're fake. We're just protecting ourselves from exposing either because we don't want them to know the truth. You know, but we're not saying anything, so we're not lying either, diba? You know.
Tama.
So, there is like, diba, like we're reserved. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people too much fake. I'm thinking. I even asked my girlfriend, sabi ko yung Filipina girlfriend ko, ano sinasabi ng fake? Ano yung fake?
Yeah, sometimes if you're being nice, they would just call you fake. I don't know what. Sharon, here's si Mayor June. Have you met si Tito June? Tawag namin Tito June. Si Mayor June Daraman.
Your last name is so familiar, Sir June. Saan ko ba siya nakita? Are you pro Marcos?
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
You're so familiar, sir. I cannot put my finger on it. Where did I hear your name from?
Can you hear us, Tito June?
Yeah.
Medyo mahina, Tito June. Nagko-connect pa siguro yung audio niya. Medyo inaayos pa niya. At tapos habang hinintay natin si Tito June na marinig niya tayo, shout out kay Ronnie
Yes, I can hear you.
Grants. Oh, now it's better. It's a lot better, Tito
Yeah,
June.
I
Yeah.
can hear
Ayan, may
you.
tanong sa si Shimmy Sharon.
Yes,
Ay-
your last name is very familiar, and I can't put my finger on it, Sir
Yes,
June.
I can hear you.
How do I know you? How do
The ramen, yeah. Actually, the ramens are from Mindanao, Surigao. Yeah. But my
from
father is
Surigao.
from Bohol. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
How are you, sir? Kamusta po?
I'm okay. Just had my breakfast here in the Philippines.
Yeah, Tito Jun, pareho kayo yes, Tito Jun matulungin din yan. Si Miss Sharon, Tito Jun matulungin din. Kaya sila nagkatagpo ni
Ayaw ko lang magtulong.
Yeah,
Dami ng mga
diba?
Actually nga, one time may hugot si Tito Jun.
Sharon.
Sa Australia siya.
Yung
Yeah, you can ask her some question if you have some
yung
question.
sinasabi ko palagi.
Bibi, hindi tayo bagay dito.
No, ikaw lang. Hindi porke ganyan yung buhok mo, kala mo bagay ka dito. Huwag ka maingay.
Mama Sally, bagay ka dyan.
Sino
Ano
si
yan?
Pepe?
Carry yan. Marunong sila magtagalog, Mama Sally.
Okay, I can speak English. What's your name?
Ayan.
Ay, may sinabi, basahin ko lang yung sinabi ni Ronnie Grant. Sabi niya, para ito, shout out at Lola Patola, naging kasangkapan ka para ipamulat sa mga kalabasa kung gaano sila ka-gullible. Ayun, siguro yung, Sharon.
Si Bibi may kasalanan.
Uy, nawala si Sharon. Saan siya napunta?
What happened? Yeah.
Tito June, kumusta ka naman dyan?
Nandito pa rin ako.
Okay. I think I didn't say. Where Sharon? Sharon, nakita mo na ba yung isang, merong si Lola Patola, na content siya ng isang, may experiment sila ng isang UTW vlogger. Yung kasi 'di ba kasi bali ang nila, 'di ba, lahat ng mga stories pinaniniwalaan ng mga kalabasa, yung mga followers sa kalabasa.
So sorry, hindi ko na I will watch later. Social
Yeah.
Social, what is it? The title?
Hindi, meron silang
Vlog from Kent Garcia.
send ko sa yung link later. I'll send you the link. Well, nag-experiment lang sila na yung mga story, kunyari kino-content nila. Tapos yung sila, as in talagang pinaniniwalaan nila. Yung parang hindi sila nag-iisip. They just believe everything they hear. Alam mo yun, hindi nila wini-weigh in yung mga...
It shows na madali silang maniwala.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So, social experiments sila to see how many people will believe anything that they say.
So, and it proven na, they're very gullible sa mga, anything sabihin mo, pag sinabi, basta, kahit na actually sinasabi na experiment yon or, pa rin sila, naniniwala. Siguro hindi lahat nakakapanood kasi ng mga, sa UTW side. So, naniniwala pa rin sila hanggang marami naniniwala.
Oh, talaga?
Oo. SKL Vlog, thank you.
Asan? Ayaw umakyat ni SKL.
Mama Sally.
Mahina ng internet niya eh.
Yes?
Tanong lang, Mama Sally, kayo ba't ni Mia Marcos nag-usap ng buhok ngayong gabi na to?
Hindi, nakita ko kasi yung buhok niya, naka-straight. I saw her, her hair. Kaya, bakit siya magpapatalo?
Oo nga eh, ang ganda-ganda.
Pero bumata ka, Mama Sally.
Diba?
Thank you, Tito June. Minsan
Hindi ka na
lang.
mukhang katulong. Hindi ka na mukhang katulong, sabi ni Kent Garcia.
Ah, shout out to Stella Marie and to Isay. Thank you, Isay.
Isay,
Salamat.
akyat ka.
Si
Isay,
Tito
akyat ka.
Jun, parang fresh
Yeah,
na fresh
Isay,
si
akit
Tito
ka.
Jun, no?
Courtesy of Tochi.
Hindi nga.
Yeah.
Parang nagpagulong-gulong ka dyan, ah.
Hindi ba, ay hindi, nagpalit sila ng hairstyle ni Aboy tsaka
Miss,
ni Paul. Kasi si Tito Jun
Yeah.
nagpa-darken, yung sila nagpa-lighter ng hair color.
yeah.
Fresh
Sabi
na
ni
fresh.
Jargon,
Sabay kami. Sabay-sabay kami. Si Aboy,
Oo.
si Paul, Kyla, Isay, Jill, ako,
si
Kay.
Kay.
Marami.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
Sharon,
yeah.
nagpaano sila one time, isang grupo sila nagkita-kita.
Mm.
So, is it possible na yung mga virtual friends na nagkita lang or nagkakilala online is pwedeng possible na malay mo in the future, if God's willing, makapunta kami na Australia, mamimit ko si Sharon.
Yeah.
Tapos,
I hope
Punta
we
tayo
can
sa
meet you,
KFC.
Sharon.
Saan ka sa Australia, Sharon? Sharon,
Sorry
saan ka sa
po.
Australia?
Sydney.
Oh, Sydney ka.
Oo.
Wow, I
Mm-mm.
like Sydney. Yeah.
Yes.
yeah,
very,
maganda sa Sydney.
very nice.
Yeah.
Tapos, yan. So, nagkita-kita sila, Sharon, isang grupo sila dun sa, sa salon ni Boss Mike Cervera.
Oo.
So, nagpa-hair.
Saan kayo
So,
pumunta?
Nawalan kami ng delikadesa.
O,
kay Boss Mike, yun na si Boss Mike Cervera sa UTW. He owns a salon. Tapos siya rin ang nag-handle ng hair nila. Hi, Mikey Liling.
Yeah, siya mismo.
Shout out,
Siya
Joy
mismo.
David.
Yeah.
Hello, kaibigan ka.
Sino naman yan si Mikey Liling?
Ronnie Grant, hello sir.
And Pete Rumingan.
Sir
Shout
Jun,
out sa inyo.
how much did Sir Mike charge you for a haircut? Dapat free.
May discount daw sila 60%. Yun ang narinig ko.
Better
Mga
than nothing.
nagpalibre yan,
you
mga
should
nagpalibre.
come, Sharon.
Po?
You should visit. Yeah.
Oh yes, I meant to go ng February sa this year.
Grabe.
Oo, I was supposed to go home. Tapos, because nagka-COVID nga, hindi ako nakatuloy. Yes.
Ayun, ayan, baka mamaya makarating kay Boss Mike, o visit ka sa salon ni, Boss Mike, para hairdo ka. Tapos, pasabi mo discount.
Wow, oo.
Nagba-backread ako eh. Baka may
Uy, Mia, i-drop mo pa yun. Teka, ako magbababa. Malay mo may gusto
Hindi,
pa
ito,
kumain.
meron. Ayan.
Boss
Mabili-
Mike is a nice guy.
Mabilis na ako ngayon.
Wow, galing.
Yeah.
Paano ka naging mabilis? Napakabagal.
Huwag
Di ko
kang
nga
bumaba,
makita
Bebe.
yung mga nangyayari.
Uy, kaya, ko na, naibaba ko na.
Sobrang delay mo.
Talaga, Sharon, pababain na natin si PB, ha? Saglit. Hindi.
Delay ka nga. Promise, delay ka ng 5 seconds.
Oh, really?
Delay
Bagal
mo.
ba? Mabagal ang net ko.
Ikaw talaga, Pete.
Dito naman okay naman sa akin. Pero sa cellphone ko,
Hindi.
Like that naman, di ba?
No, PB.
Ano yan? Basher lang
Ano yan,
talaga si
Tito Jun?
PB. Huwag mo raw ako i-bash, sabi ni Tito Jun.
oo,
Ano yung Tito
talaga
Jun?
si
Okay,
Tito
PB.
Ano yung Tito
Jun
Jun?
sa bashing. Ayaw niya ng basher.
Di
Gusto
nga
niya
Hi,
ako
it's
lang.
Di ko pa
It's
nga
all
daw
about
binabash eh.
Bosher. Shout out.
Parang makulit lang si Pinoy Breezy eh.
Yeah.
Hindi, makulit yan. Kakulitan ko yun lagi. Makulit talaga yan. Ay, Tito Jun, may tanong ako. Yung tungkol sa natin. Ay,
Oo.
minsan pag nawawala si Tito Jun, nakala ko nalalaglag sila eh. Yung sa yung sa title natin, yung na-experience mo na yung enough is enough, parang kailan mo nasabi ng tama na to, yung ganun. Yung ganung, meron ka ba yung, kunyari sa
Well,
political, what happening in
Experience
social
ko na
media?
yan.
Oo.
Oh yeah. I don't know kasi ang ugali ko kasi marupok ako eh. Kahit ayaw ko na, kahit even we're talking about love, kahit ayoko na, pag madala akong maawa eh. Pero not to the extent, like pag friends lang na binash ka, like
Ni PB.
yung personal attack.
I-name drop mo, Tito John.
Pero
I-name drop
ano,
mo.
hindi ako binabas ni PB. Mahal ko yan. Kaya ano, yun, parang nakakaano lang na hindi nila alam ang kwento, biglang iba yung ano nila, iba yung iniisip. Yun ang nakakaano na sometimes you will say, tama na, enough is enough. Yeah.
Parang syempre kahit ano tayo kasi ano eh. Ayan o, Sharon na yun si Pinoy Breezy. Can you see him? Yan si Pinoy Breezy. Ano daw, si Dean Kane.
Yes, he looks like Superman.
Ako sa iyo niya, kasi pupusuan kita
Or
eh.
bawang, you know.
Shout out kay Dean Kane.
Pinoy Breezy, tapos ang umakyat si Dean Kane.
Ayan.
Ang gaya niya, no?
Pero ano, sino yan? Hulaan mo yan, Sharon, who's that girl?
Who's that girl? Sino yan?
Yeah, that's Mama Sally.
Ano daw? Uy, sira ulo talaga to si PB.
Mama Sally, ano, di ba sexy ni Mama Sally, Sharon, no?
Oh, Mama
Yan yung
Sally.
talaga, ha?
Yan yung mga tipong hindi mo inaakala.
Ano ba yan?
Shout out, Rosana Magubat. Hi, Miss Kay.
Kaka.
Sabi ni Miss Kay, oy, Miss Kay, akyat ka. Sabi ni Miss Kay, Mama Sally against Carosalite. Di daw makita ang beauty mo.
Ay, ganun. Kasi paborito kong pwesto to eh. Kaya,
Hi, Inday Ufra. Shout out sa'yo.
Uy, Mama Sally, yan bang buhok mo? Tunay yan o hindi?
Hindi! Ano ba? Obvious ba?
O wig ba yan? Kala ko tunay.
Oo, parang marami akong mga wigs na parang tunay. Alam mo yun?
Ang galing, no?
Ako din, PB, yung hair ko, ano siya, wig lang siya. Miss
Wig ba
Fidel,
yan?
shout out.
Ay,
Joke.
mag-end ka na.
Ganon?
Puro fake pala kayo.
Oh, hindi. Tunay yan. Oh.
Miss Kay, Nempada.
Hi, Miss Kay. Oh, yung gusto umakyat, baba ako ng hagdan ulit.
Uy, mag-shoutout ka. Ang dami na palang tao.
Ayan, na-shout kasi si Miss Kay, si VR46.
Ronnie
Yeah.
Grab. Sino pa ba?
Shout out sa inyo, mga kaibigan. Oh, yung sinabi kanina ni
Miss
Sergio. Yun,
Fides. Shout out, Miss Fides.
oo. Sabi ni Tito Jun, yun nga minsan, pag nasasaktan ka na, yun, tama na. Minsan, alam mo, minsan dapat alam mo yung boundaries minsan din eh. Kahit sa
Yeah,
mga
kasi
joke
Kung
minsan.
minsan,
Sometimes,
Yes,
the
Tito.
only way na,
yeah.
sometimes the only way na certain things like that, especially yung mga jokes na nagpaparinig and things like that. You know, may mga innuendos sila pero they know na ang tinatamaan nila ikaw. You know, there's
Yeah.
certain things na dapat na if they have an issue,
Yeah.
face to face, diba? Sabihin mo na.
Baby, gusto mo, baby ama naman, baby ama.
Ano
Yeah.
yun? Diba? Clear up the situation. Huwag nang magpaparinig. So that way, hindi na lumalaki ang situation.
Yeah. It's true. Ako din, parang din ako sa minsan parinig eh. Minsan, doon lumalaki minsan yung gulo pag parinig. So, kasi minsan, the tendency ng mga tao,
Yeah.
if they have an issue, like for example, may kunyari, may iko-correct ako kay Tito Jun, for example, close kami Tito Jun, tapos may iko-correct ako sa kanya, sasabihin ko sa kanya yung issue ko. Pero pag ang tao hindi marunong makipag-communicate, hindi marunong ng open communication, they have to the tendency to raise their voice. Yun yung defense mechanism nila. Or is either they raise their voice because they don't want to be corrected, or they just run away. Kasi,
I think one of the reasons also when when people are yung nagpaparinig, like without
Mhm.
people's name or anything like that. Tapos ikaw natamaan, for
Mhm.
example lang. Pero talaga deep down yung tinatamaan nila talaga ikaw, right? Sometimes sasabihin nila, hindi naman ikaw ang ano ko, ang ibig kong sabihin kundi ibang tao. So
Mhm.
that way, may excuse sila to evade the actual truth.
Mhm.
So they're the one that can't handle the actual truth. Kasi
Mm.
face to face, not confrontation na. Not
Mm.
confrontation in a sense na in a rude way, but you just want to iron out any differences before it gets
Mhm.
bad, diba? Kasi
But
just for the sake of friendship or for the sake of yung relationship nyo, whether it's
Mhm.
marriage or friends,
Friendship. Mhm.
family, or anything like that. Iba-iba. There's so many. I'm sure Sir June will agree with me. At saka si Ma'am Sally. At saka si, I don't know about Pinoy Breezy. I'll just leave him be. No.
PB, you can call him PB. Yeah, you can call him PB
Okay.
for short. Yeah.
I'm sure that he'll
yeah,
probably agree with this as well too. Now,
PB,
when it comes to a conflict, there are so many degrees of of resolution yan, diba? Depending
Mhm.
on what type of
Ayun,
conflict that you're looking about, when you're talking about whether it's just a minor conflict, whether it's a
yeah,
international
true.
conflict, then of course, diba, if international conflict, it'll take longer than just a day, a week, or a month, or a year to, diba? Kasi when personal conflict, most countries go to war, diba? Or if
Mhm.
it's national one, yung mga ibang bansa and things like that, there's senates, there's Congress that's involved, there's so many other departments involved. So until the conflicts is raised, so it could be in the company as well. So and then you're looking at a personal situation or domestic situation, iba na naman. So that's why
Uh-huh.
we have a law. We have a law so that we can have some form of law and order. Otherwise,
Yeah.
lahat tayo maguguluhan. We're just like no better than animals.
Gusto ko
Yeah.
yung law and order.
Yeah, I love law and order.
Oz? Oz?
It's from
Yeah.
Hindi ng accent ni Ma'am Sharon, pambihira.
Oo.
ano?
Hindi, maganda yung
Yung
accent,
accent mo
yung
na yun,
Australian
natindi na.
accent.
Australian accent yun,
Yeah, cute ang Australian accent talaga.
Law and order.
Yung letter
Law and
R
order.
nila, it's not, we don't really say the word letter
Yeah.
R.
Yeah.
I have to be
Yeah.
mindful when I say yung letter R, it's quiet, it's like
Law and order.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
May babasahin ako, yung sabi ni kaibigan ka, sabi daw ni Coach Jarrett, pag pumatol ka, talunan ka, tayo dapat ang mag-control sa situation. Oh, totoo naman yun. Parang yung like class LS ko, yung mag-overlook ka ng offense, parang mas maisip ka kapag, minsan, meron, at sabi nga, di ba, sometimes meron mga away or mga fight na pipiliin mo. Sometimes kailangan mo lumaban, minsan kailangan mo tumahimik lang. Alam mo,
Yes,
yung,
yeah, you pick your battles. So what I think
yeah.
Coach Jared was saying, he has a point. I think
Yeah.
what he's saying, correct me if I'm wrong, Coach Jared, is you level up. You level up
Mhm.
your argument depending on the person that you're dealing with. Again, yung sinasabi mo na yung conflict. You need to know when to be quiet and you need to know when to speak up. So
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
And then ang minsan naman kasi sa situation yung mga minsan taong mahilig mang-insulto, ano yun yung sabi nga yung maraming pain sa mga buhay nila, yung parang siguro di sila masaya. So they want to inflict pain to others, ganon. Through sakta yung damdamin mo. Minsan meron ako ganung co-worker before. Parang lagi siyang galit. Tapos laging parang gusto niya lagi nang iinsulto, parang lahat
Yeah.
mali.
Yes.
It's because they are not happy with their life. So I just have to deal with it, just pray for them. Then later on, they made a lot of mistakes sa work, tapos they cover it up, and then they blame it to others. So until such time na find out, so they were fired, Pero I have to deal with minsan parang nabubully ako sa work before. So, but then I have to stood up, like, hindi ko tinatake yung bullying nila. I have to report their bullying. Then, later on na ano sila, napagsabihan, and then hindi pa rin sila tumigil hanggang sa na-fired na sila. So, kasi alam naman mga mga boss, especially pag sa work, gano'n.
Mm.
Yes, Miss
That's
Sharon.
that's why they there's a big difference between knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
Knowledge is knowing
Mhm.
when or what to say, or
Yeah.
what the answer is. But
Mm.
wisdom is knowing how to ask the right questions.
Yeah, totoo.
Or to keep silence, and that is the hardest part is also listening.
Yeah. 'Di ba sabi nga, you have to be slow to speak. Dapat you always listen. Tapos kahit in a conversation, 'di ba minsan pag sa argument merong tao na sinasabi mo pa lang or you're in a heated argument, iniisip niya na irerebat niya. So he is not listening, he's just trying. So wala talagang communication. So dapat you have to listen, and then quick to listen and
Yes.
slow to speak.
Yes. What you're saying is like when you're listening
Yeah.
to understand the person so
Mhm.
and people who actually reply before the other person is finished is para bang you're not present, so
Mhm.
you're not engaged
Yeah.
in the moment of the communication kasi ang isip mo is like para bang you're already in advance, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, how you nakokontrahin mo na agad yung sasabihin.
and that's no longer an active listening, kasi active
Mm.
listening is when you're applying certain wisdom, certain yung timing ba, and also a level of understanding, and that is sometimes the hardest part is when you're trying to understand the person and what they're saying, and so to not have any miscommunication kasi
Mhm.
part of resolution as well, and so that it doesn't arise to a conflict, especially sa mga meeting, and I've been to a lot of meetings na it's best to actually just convey what you think the other person is saying, reiterate it back sa'yo para sabihin mo like is what you're saying this, and that is what I'm saying about wisdom.
Yeah.
Learning to ask the question.
Mhm. And not to jump into conclusion, tapos yung I think yung sa word ngayon na current term na ginagamit, yung tamang hinala, yung parang lagi ka na lang may iniisip na mali or baka ganito, pero it's better to ask question kaysa naman mag-conclude na hindi naman pala yun. Yeah.
Correct.
Kahit siguro sa parents din, kung may mga parents yan sa mga anak
True.
nila, diba minsan may mga ginagawa yung mga anak tapos hindi naiintindihan ng magulang, is better na tanungin yung nila, anak nila, bakit mo yan ginagawa, instead na i-judge mo agad na mali yan. Baka mamaya meron sila why they're doing things na kunyari bakit
Problem with that,
go ahead.
you're breaking up. Yeah, the problem with that is power struggle,
Mhm.
and that yung what I can hear you say, yung power struggle between a parent and a child, and that can happen in any levels kahit na sa mga businesses, because they're the boss and you're just a worker. They think they know everything, and that's where people, especially now with a lot of this social media, sorry, with a lot of the technologies, especially in social media, we are bombarded with so much information that we're forgetting to actually ask the questions now because we think we know everything. It's all the answers are readily available, that we're jumping into conclusions where we think we know the answers before we even get to answer the question. So what you're saying there, Mia, is when a parent should go to the level of the child so that you can understand where the child is coming from, not the other way around. And one thing that also we have to remember as a parent is that we are not also reflecting yung mga fears natin sa mga anak natin because of our experiences.
Yeah. Parang I will set an example kasi may narinig ako. Sabi niya, kasi yung parang yung anak, parang ready to na mag-work. So ready for interview, graduating. So, nagpakalbo. So, yung tatay, parang hindi siya agree na bald yung anak. Kasi, syempre, papasok ka ng trabaho, magpapa-interview ka, tapos bald ka. Ganyan.
Nagalit.
So,
Yeah.
so, ang tendency ng tatay, di ba, sabihin, bakit ka nagpakalbo? Ano ka, ganyan. So, pero may wisdom yung tatay. So, hindi niya inano. Tinanong niya yung anak niya. Sabi niya, bakit ka nagpakalbo? Sabi niya, ano daw kasi mainit. So, tapos yung hindi masyadong maraming mga hair, yung mga hair beauty products or mag gel or anything. So, it's easier. Sabi niya, okay. Pero, di papasok ng trabaho. So, syempre, pag hindi ka naman pwede kalbo, papasok ng trabaho. So, kinausap niya yung parang, yung ninong nung anak niya. Sabi niya, pare, do you understand me, Miss Sharon? Can you follow? Okay.
Yes.
So, sabi niya, kasi sabi niya, sabihan mo yung inaanak mo na kasi papasok ng trabaho. Alam mo yung wisdom naman ng ninong. Sabi niya, so, parang tinatry niya paano sa pagpapa-interview, ganyan. Tapos, alam mo, sinabi niya lang doon sa bata, alam mo, if I am the employer, ang pipiliin ko kung meron 2 applicants, yung may buhok. Hindi niya sinabing mali, pero sinabi niya lang na, kung merong siyang applicant and he is the employer na nag-i-interview, ang pipiliin niyang applicant is yung may buhok. So hindi naman niya sinabi na mali or anything. Alam mo, bumalik yung anak sa tatay. Sabi niya, Dad, now I'm started growing my hair, Yun yung mga sinasabi mong wisdom na
Walang judgment.
Walang judgment. And then, hindi mo kinonnclude na mali yan, bakit, or pinagalitan mo na. So, yung mga ganong approach.
Correct.
Diba? Ang ganda.
Oy, Mama Sally, nakakasunod ka ba sa pinag-uusapan nila?
Yes.
Paki-summarize mo nga.
Tumitingin din kasi ako sa mga shoutout kay Mia, sa kanila, o kay Aboy lang
So, sana
po.
ipasummarize sa'yo kung talaga nakikinig ka eh.
Ikaw ba nakikinig? Ano ba?
Hindi. Kaya nga pinasasummarize ko sa'yo eh.
Walang iya.
Hindi, si Sergio na lang. Summarize. Alam mo na ako'y, busy dito, nagbabasa.
Shout out kay Attorney Aboy. Sabi niya, good morning daw. Good morning kay Miss Sharon. At kay Pedro Bangkusay. Attorney Aboy, akit ka. Chikik, sakit ka.
Yeah, it turns out na magka-rival pala kami ni Miss Sharon kay FLM.
Tell me.
Yeah.
How can we come
you just watch Kent Garcia's vlog.
Yes.
So,
give me some background so para alam ko.
Okay, I'll give you a background, Sharon.
Because how can I have an argument kapag
Gusto mo ako magbigay ng background ni Mama Sally kay Sharon?
Yeah, go ahead, PB. Give the background to Sharon.
Alam mo, Sharon, si Mama Sally, baka hindi mo siya kilala talaga masyado. So, taga-Japan din siya.
Right.
Kumbaga, nakatanggap rin siya ng tula.
Oh, right.
Galing kay Norman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 love letters.
5. Okay.
5.
Yes.
Bula ang bibig ni Mama Sally.
He thought he thought I was a millionaire, a big shot mama here in Japan.
Really?
Okay, right. Okay,
But when he came here, he found out that I am just a maid here in Japan.
Ano ginawa niya?
So, Mama Sally was
Dumped me. He just dumped me.
Ano ba yung English sa matrona? They called Mama Sally matrona. Do you know what matrona, Sharon?
Wild
Like,
Ano ba yung matrona nga ba sa English?
Wild hug nga? Ano ba yan?
wild hug. Is that how, kay ko-confirm ko kay Mish, hindi ko alam, to be honest. Hindi ko pa nagagamit yung word na yun. Wild hug.
Hindi, Sharon, joke lang yan
Oo, pero
mamaya isend mo na lang yung link, Mia, kay Sharon, yung kay Kent.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah.
So anong nangyari now, Miss Sally, sa story mo? So how did we become rivals? We can still be friends in some
Yeah,
way.
I know.
Pambihira
But
yung kay Kuya
Don't
Seb
take
for
it seriously.
MILF
No,
matrona.
It's just a joke. It's just a
okay.
joke.
We can agree to disagree. Can we do that?
Okay. What I'm gonna
Baka
say is that
Parang gusto kong bumaba bigla ah.
May tinatanong si si Miss
cougar.
Kay.
Cougar.
Anong accent yan? Parang naging Chinese. Ano yan, Miss Kay? Ano yung naging Chinese na
No,
sundan?
sinasabi
He
niya yung
thought I was
kanina.
a cougar. You know, cougar.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, cougar.
Australian accent.
Yeah, Australian.
Cougar.
Sabi ni Aramina, parang yung sinabi kanina rin ni Miss Sharon, knowledge is knowing what to say, wisdom is knowing when to say it.
Tama.
Bumabalik pala ako, PB. Sorry, papagalitan na naman ako ni PB kasi sabi ni PB sa akin sa one time, ano ba yan? Parang 10 minutes ago na yan.
Ako naman, babae pa. Okay lang naman.
Hi, Miss Army. Akyat ka.
Hi, Army. Andiyan si Army.
Kaibigan ka. Wow, long hair si Lola Patola. Naging crush ni Norman Mangusin.
They have a past.
Sinipa mo siya? When he dumped you, sinipa mo? Miss Sally.
Hindi na masyado.
Hindi, para kasi ang istorya, Sharon, dapat si Kulao, i-scam niya si Mama Sally. Pero ang nangyari, siya ang na-scam ni Mama Sally. That's the story.
Yes.
I love you.
And I am being bashed right now. A lot of FLM supporters are bashing me.
Tell me. Enough.
Now, I can beat them myself.
Just joking. Ano naman sinasabi nila? Sabihin mo, as long as you're still beautiful at the end of the day, walang issue.
No, Mayu,
Mayu daw, Mayu. Sharon yan, hindi yan si Mayu, si Sharon. Ano ba yan? Sakit ka sa ulo.
Sabi ko na, that Mayo and I...
Ako tuloy nagkukwento ngayon. Kuday.
Ni-name drop pa si Mayu.
O,
Si
sabi
Sharon
nila
yung
that
kaharap
Mayo
mo,
and
ano
I
ba
look
yan?
the same. Totoo ba yun?
What?
May nakita ako or I heard na Mayo and I look the same.
Yeah, you have a resemblance. Parang ganon.
ABS. Mahilig siya sa sexy.
Alam nyo, Sharon, pag pinagdikit-dikit kayong tatlo ni Mama Sally, ikaw at si Mayu, para kayong quadruplets.
Wow.
Yes.
Mahilig siya sa sexy, kaya nga nung nakita niya ako, ang laki ko bigla ako
Yes.
sinipa.
Kaya ang gusto niya sa'yo, Mama Sally, side view ka lang lagi.
Sharon, may invitation sa'yo si SKL Vlog, si Kyla. Sabi niya, kung magbisita, mag-join ka raw sa kanila sometimes.
Yes.
Si SKL, usually, anong oras siya sa, Kyla, anong oras yung kay Kyla? Hindi ko nadiligaw ako sa oras kasi pag
Where's
Philippine
SKL?
time.
6 o'clock yata. 6 o'clock.
She's in the Philippines.
Philippines, 3 hours. There's 3-hour difference kami at the moment.
Kung mga 6 a.m., kunyari sa Philippines. So ngayon, pag nag-start tayo ng 11 a.m. Philippine time, anong oras sa'yo? 3 hours?
2 p.m.
2 p.m. Okay. Nag-add ng 2 hours. Ayan na, sa shout. Okay.
9 p.m. sa inyo sa Australia.
Oo,
There's
3. Add 3 more hours.
Yeah.
Shout out kay Intan Soriano. Binabati niya raw ang kanyang pinsan na si Dr. Ponggay Soriano. O yan, Ponggay, thank you so much. Mabait na kaibigan si Dr. Ponggay.
Ponggay. Natakot nga yan. Akala niya totoong binabash ako. Totoo akong kinontent. Kaya agad sa akin. Takot daw siya.
Ayan. So mga 6 p.m.
Mia.
Philippine. Yes, PB.
Tanong mo naman si Tito Jun kung kumusta naman yung vacation niya.
Ay, oo nga pala. Diba, si Tito Jun, na siya, na-quarantine siya ng how long sa Bicol, Tito Jun?
7 months.
7 months. So, all the time sa hotel ka naka-stay, Tito June?
Yeah. But I'm
Kabab-
here in Sukat.
Hello, Aboy. Welcome, Aboy.
Ayan.
Morning.
Si ano, ayan. Have you met Sharon, si Attorney Aboy? Si Attorney Aboy, isa sa mga
Sharon.
natin sa live stream na nakakasama natin. So, pag may problema ka, pwede mo siyang pwede ka mag-ask ng legal advice.
Umakyat lang talaga ako para kay Mama Sally. Mama Sally, okay ka lang ba?
Okay naman. Ako pa,
Okay.
nag-super chat nga ako eh. Sabi nila, hoy, yung pinang super chat mo, pampagawa mo na lang ng mukha mo.
Totoo. Ako, umakyat lang ako dahil concerned ako sa'yo kasi nakita ko yung video, baka hindi ka pa naka-get over. Diba?
Okay lang, na-shock lang ako.
Nasya ka sa storyline.
I have a question to ask to all of you.
Yes, Miss Sharon, go ahead.
Those that are vloggers, okay? So how do you deal with all the what you coin bashers? Like, I don't know how long you've been. I know brand new ka lang, Mia, no? But I can
Yeah.
say you seem to handle yourself well. So, how do you, I guess, distance yourself sa mga bashers nyo? Like, para hindi kayo maepektuhan. Especially kapag you're a very empathic person, di ba?
Yeah.
We just don't mind them. I just don't mind them.
Yeah.
Ganun lang. If I want to answer their bashing, ayun.
Kung kailan sila nagtatagalog, pa-English ka naman ngayon.
Ayan ang basher. Just imagine, okay, Mama Sally, pakita mo paano mo i-handle yung basher mo na si PB. I-bash mo rin siya.
Let's do a role play. For example, ikaw
Ganun
nag-PB.
ako.
Bash ka na.
Saka yung mga followers ni FLM, napakadali lang nilang i-bash. Alam mo yung tapakan mo sila hanggang ilalim ng lupa yung pagkatao nila. Tatakbo na.
I heard na, di ba, they supposed to have like this big celebration sa Coliseum ng September.
Oh, yeah. Oo.
May vlogger na pumunta tapos wala raw handa.
Hindi natuloy.
Si Alam na Dis. Si Alam na Dis nagpunta doon. Si Alam na Dis.
Drawing. It's just a drawing,
I know.
Sharon, kilala mo na ba si Attorney Aboy Paraiso?
No po, pero nag-hello
Hindi
na
ba?
kami. Too late ka na, Pinoy.
Yeah, good one, Sharon. Good one. That's a good one.
Sharon, kahit
ma-feel mo.
Sharon,
Good
kahit
morning,
fresh na
Mala.
fresh ka ngayon, kahit nagagandaan ako sa iyo ngayon ng todo, ibabash pa rin kita maya-maya.
Oh, wow. I'm so excited.
Ay, sige, ako sasagot naman ako doon sa tanong ni Sharon. Ako, parang ikaw, Sharon, yung sabi mo na pag binabash ka, kasi hindi ka naman nila kilala, parang siguro mas masasaktan ako kung yung mga kaibigan o yung mga taong kakilala ka, tapos parang hindi naman ibabash yung, parang, yun nga, gano'n, i-judge ka, gano'n, tapos kilala ka, that would hurt me the most. Parang, hindi yung sa mga hindi ko kakilala. Kasi, pag kilala mo kasi sarili mo, tapos hindi ka naman nakilala, hindi ka maapektuhan eh.
True. Ay, ikaw naman, Pinoy Breezy. PB.
Pinoy Breezy.
Sorry na, mayroon akong ginawa.
Oy, PB, you speak in English, okay?
No English.
No English?
Habla Espanyol.
Alam mo yung sige, ulitin ko tanong, PB, paano mo raw hinahandle yung mga basher? Maganda mag-handle yun si PB. Explain mo kay Miss Sharon.
Wala lang, love lang, walang hate.
Sige, ako na mag-explain. Ayan, yan eh. Ang ginagawa ni PB, yung mga basher niya doon sa comment, tuwa siya, yan eh, alam mo yung masochistic, the more na binabash siya, the more na nagugustuhan niya. Tapos, binabasa niya pa, tapos talagang ine-emphasize niya pa yung mga bashers.
Oh, right.
Ganon.
Hina-highlight niya.
Oo, hina-highlight niya.
Yes.
You turn pessimism into optimism.
Yeah, pag nakakita ako ng mga basher, parang tinitigasan yung aking daliri.
Walang siya.
Okay, go to kay Atty. Aboy na tayo. Iwanan natin si Pinoy Breezy.
Rheumatism, you know.
Tayo.
Ay, una-una, good morning ho. Pedro, good morning sa'yo. Ay, good evening na sa'yo dyan. Mami Sally, Timia, Mayor June, Ma'am Sharon. Magandang hapon dito sa Pilipinas. Una-una, hindi po ako vlogger. Pangalawa, sa mga bashers ko, wapakels, you don't exist.
Yeah, ganun. Tama.
Oo. At si pasagutin natin si Tito June kasi lagi na, I'm sure may mga ano rin siya,
May
mga...
precious din ka.
Oh, yeah.
That was bad
yun.
Tagalog. May precious din ka. Is that right?
Yeah, tama yun. Yeah, that's correct.
Natawa ako doon.
Go ahead, Tito June.
Ako pareho din kay Atty. Aboy. I'm not a vlogger. So, wala akong pakialam. Siguro, nowadays, for my 1 week stay here in Manila, nakikilala ko na sina Atty. Aboy, sina Kyla, sina Kay, sina Isay, si Gail and Paul. I think, kung ako i-bash nila, masasaktan ako siyempre dahil they know me na in person. But siguro, tama yung sinabi niya, wala siyang pakialam. Ganon din ako. Kahit sabihin pang wala akong delikadeza, okay lang. Ang ano lang naman natin, yung tama si PB, love lang, walang hate. Yeah.
Yes, ganun lang, heart.
Tito June, next
Oy,
time ay...
Can you see my heart?
Ang hindi sinabi ni Tito Jun doon, Pedro, kahit i-bash mo siya ngayon, wala din siya pakels dahil di ka pa niya kikita in person. Kailangan pakita.
Tito Jun, next time ang intro mo dapat, I'm not a vlogger, I'm just gorgeous.
Ayun, okay yun.
Sabay rampa sa runway.
Deng. Alam mo, iniintay ko yan si Tito June, pupunta yan na San Diego.
Yeah, I will be there.
I got you. Gusto mo, pagkita-kita pa tayo na Ilocos Pinoy.
Tito June, si ano...
So, si Kuya Jonathan, no?
Saan ka Pinoy Breezy? Sa Philippines?
Sa California
Yes.
siya.
California. How about you, Aboy Paraiso?
Paradise.
Bago ko sagutin niya, Ma'am Sharon, paulit ng pangalan ko.
Aboy Paraiso.
Dito ako sa Pilipinas, sa Quezon City.
Philippines. Where about in Philippines?
In Quezon City.
He's nice.
Home of the stars.
If you see him in person, Sharon,
Yeah.
he's nice. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
This is just an image for YouTube.
Yeah, but he looks like a puppy eyes. Si Aboy.
O ano, shout out ulit.
Sharon, you should
naniniwala.
review Kent Garcia's videos. By
Ayan,
then, you would know Aboy Paraiso, who he is.
Yeah.
You would know who is the real Aboy Paraiso.
No.
So you should follow Kent Garcia, Michelle.
Okay. If you watch Kent Garcia's blog, you would know all the background of all the bloggers of
How
UTW.
do you spell the first?
I know Kent, Kent, Garcia, Garcia. O shout out ulit kay Army Roldan. Thank you sis for coming. Tapos sabi ni veterinaryong may palo, ang dami pa rin daw nakikinig sa kalabasa kay Kent. Today lang nagpalusot si Jojo na dati na daw siya nagdududa. Gusto bawiin ang dignidad. Tapos sabi ni Jargon 26, siguro sinabi ko kanina, sabi niya, is that talking from experience?
Yeah.
Probably.
Bawian ng dignidad Nino. Dignidad niya o dignidad?
Hindi kasi parang ang nangyari kasi naniwala sila. Naniwala sila dun sa mga
Social experiment.
sa social experiment. So ngayon, parang binabawi niya na, parang may nagdudut, parang sinasabi niya, may doubt na siya before. So parang binabawi niya na yung kanyang kasi na rin siya. Pero it's normal naman.
Mm-mm. So,
As long as na, ano. Oy, ano, shout out kay Shy Pinay.
Hello, Sharpie Nay.
Ay, ano, Tito Jun, may ano daw, may friend request daw sa'yo si Inday Upra. May ano daw siya sa'yo. May friend request.
Sino?
Si ano, Inday
Sino? Ano
Upra.
pangalan?
Upra.
Parang friend ko na siya. Sino si Inday
Inday
Upra? Ano pa lang niya?
Sige, I will
Upra.
check. I
Yan.
will check.
Oo. PBC na daw si Inday Upra. PB.
Secret ata yun eh.
Oh, secret nga.
Hindi naman si
Okay.
Oprah Winfrey yan.
Sabi ni Shy Pinay, sama kami ng mga PhilAm YouTubers. Shout out Mayor June. Wait ka daw nila sa Southern California.
nag-subscribe ako kay
Oh,
Pinoy
yeah, I will
Breezy.
be there. In fact, we are planning to visit Hawaii also with Tony Aboy and
Are you
Wow,
planning
when is
to...
that? Uy, when is
Alam.
that? Kailan kayo magta-travel?
yeah, we will be there.
Pag na-lift na yung travel ban,
Si Tony Aboy,
Here.
anytime.
Here. Ang tagal pa. Diyos ko, mga pangarap niyo
Ako
pa lang
naman
kaya.
anytime, yung ticket ko last February pa
alam ka naman ipilit namin, Mami Sally, magbangka kami papuntang US naman.
Ayun nga din eh. Ako nga din. Gusto ko naman papunta rin dyan.
sige, Mama Sally. Punta ka dito. Tapos punta natin si PB sa California. Mag-fishing daw tayo. Fishing ng ng subscriber.
Get ready for a big band.
Yeah,
kasi
I love
sasama
this
na-
place. Gusto ko ang place nila. Yeah,
San Diego, yeah. Sa-
California, sabi mo.
yeah, malapit
Yeah, San
yan sa
Diego,
Mexico.
California.
Malapit yan sa Mexico.
May
Oo.
zoo, di ba? Sa
Kaya-
San Diego.
Espanyol siya.
Yeah, San Diego Zoo. Yeah, they have. Ay, attorney,
Kila PB? Kila PB yan?
Oo. Si is
Yeah.
buti hindi kayo ginawa animal caretaker ni Kent, Pinoy Breezy sa San Diego Zoo. Alam mo yung driver si Pinoy Breezy, Sharon, si Pinoy Breezy ay driver ni Boss Mike. Yun ang kanyang
Pa San Diego, pa US, nandyan lang yan sa may Zambales. Yan si
Magpinsan
Pedro.
po kami ni Mike Cervera.
magpinsan sila ni Boss Mike.
Ay,
Ay, attorney Aboy ba?
Dog show, shout out.
Ay,
Topic.
Jonathan.
Ikaw ba meron ka na sa either sa friend or whatever, like enough is enough, parang nasabi mo na enough is enough.
You gave up on someone? I think so, yeah. There were a couple of times that you would give up on someone. Pero you don't totally give up on them. You would give up trying to change them. Pero, you would give up trying to, patch things up with them. Pero even though you hold back, even though you step back for a while, you're still hoping. You were watching from afar. You're still hoping that, he or she comes around, or he or she would realize that, at least consider what you were saying before. So yeah, you would have those times that enough is enough, pero it's not absolute. You just step back, watch from afar, So there you go.
And then follow-up question, Attorney Aboy, about enough is enough and enough shoes. Enough shoes. When enough is enough on shoes.
Promise. That I cannot promise.
That's the same thing as yung the importance of whether do you want to be right or what's more important?
Yeah, so
You wanna
many
be right or
shoes.
you want to be
Yeah.
wrong, diba?
Yeah. Sometimes you want to be wrong so they can be right.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that in these circumstances, sometimes even though that you're trying to help your friend mo,
Yeah.
you do everything you can. And what Paraiso was saying,
Wow.
Paraiso. Ang ganda naman ng Ang ganda
So
ng-
from now on, your name is Aboy Paraiso. Okay, go ahead, Sharon, continue.
what I'm trying to say, sometimes, okay, you allow your friend to experience whether what she's going through, because sometimes you can't change a person because they have to change themselves. In order to do that, you've got to give them that experience na ang
Mhm.
gusto nilang gawin, whether it's sa kanila is right. So let them experience yung gusto nilang gawin, and then maybe at a point baka ikaw ang mali, 'di ba? Or
Mhm.
siya ang tama, or at the end of that, then it becomes vice versa, 'di ba? So sometimes you
Mm.
just have to step back and just say, okay, I've done my part. Enough is enough for me. You do your own thing, because sometimes you have to also protect yung mental health mo, 'di ba?
Yeah, especially if it's already stressful. Parang sabi nga nila, pag minsan may mga sobra ng, kunyari dito, sa actual world, tapos meron kang friend na nakakasama mo sa party, tapos very toxic, very negative. So, I would rather stay away. Kasi kunyari, pag hindi mo na nagugustuhan, parang, kumbaga, lahat na lang chinichismis sa'yo, or lagi na lang may binubulong na si ganyan. Parang, you don't want to hear those things.
You know what I
So,
do with chismis? I'll tell you something. I just
mhm,
remembered something. Dito sa Filipino community, there was someone
mhm,
that accused me na it's to do with money, okay?
mhm,
And sinasabi niya na wala siyang utang sa akin. Yun ang ginawa
mhm.
ko. I sued her for it. Letter of demand. Kasi ang
Mm.
ginawa niya, if she was quiet about it, I would not just go, okay, it's my
Uh-huh.
experience, I let it go.
Hello, I am Dora. This problem.
Ang ginawa ko, because nagchismis siya sa mga Filipino community pa, at saka pinalakot niya, bumalik sa akin, ang ginawa ko, I was quiet, I didn't say anything. So
Yeah.
I just employed someone to sue her, and just
Yeah.
a letter of demand. Yun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, kasi minsan yung mga
Takot si
iba,
Ma'am Sharon. Pa-deploy na lang. Ma'am, pati tayo
Yung stop the chismis, diba?
We're friends. We're friends. Capital P, friends.
yeah.
I'm
Oh,
Renato. Oh,
yeah.
Renato, sino ba yung the famous soccer player?
Renato.
That's Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. Sorry.
Yeah, Rinaldo.
Ayun na. Miss Sharon, Attorney Aboy make it easier for you. So, he's now Renato. Pero hindi, okay nga rin yung Aboy, mas simple eh. I'm Renato.
What is Aboy? What's that mean?
Nga, Attorney Aboy. Ano yung Aboy? Ano yung nickname mo talaga, Attorney Aboy? Or ano lang yun, pseudonym mo lang yun?
The story I always tell people is my parents were too lazy to name me when I was born. So when I came out, apparently there was no ultrasounds before. So you would only know the gender when the baby comes out during when I was born. So when I was born, they said, "Uy, it's a boy." So
that's what become a
that's
boy.
But
It's a boy.
no, but that's the
Very
story I
creative.
wanted. Because it's shorter.
Uh-huh.
It's a shorter anecdote, but the real story is I had a different nickname before my parents gave me. It's Black Boy. I don't want to say the first name. So my younger brother, who was a year and a half younger than me, they tried to tell them, oh, pronounce Black Boy, Black Boy, Black Boy. And he would always say, boy, ah, boy. So it stuck. So it was ah, boy.
Parang minsan nga may mga yung mga bata, usually nagbibigay ng nickname. Katulad nung husband ko, yung grandmother niya, maybe when he was young, he cannot say grandma. So she's become Gregory. Gregory.
Okay.
Kasi puti. So it's become Gregory. So, yeah, sometimes ako ganun din pag I'm done, I stay away. Sabi ko nga ako minsan kasi sabi ko, tough ako, pero nasasaktan din ako. So, when I really get hurt, I quit. Yun yung personality ko. Pero may friend na na nag-advise din sa akin na now that I'm in social media, I have to learn how to separate personal on
And,
Pero sa bashing, naman ako, tap naman ang mga bashers. I really don't care about them. Dami ko rin mga bashers, so I just read their comment, and if I want to delete it, I delete it. Sometimes I respond. So, but
Hindi
it
nga ako
doesn't.
bother eh. May ano rin ako, mga bashers din ako eh. But that's
Yeah,
okay.
once you show up in social media, they'll bash you like Attorney Abo. I'm sure there's. Pero ano, si Attorney Aboy naman, well-loved naman siya. Tapos si Karen Sharon, I'm sure there's a lot of, I think, mas marami yung nagmamahal sa inyo kaysa doon sa mga bashers. Ang masasabi ko lang sa mga bashers, hindi kayo masaya sa buhay. I mean, I'm not talking about yung totoong mga lang, yung gusto lang mga bash talaga. Ano yan?
These people who
Parang may pinatatamaan ka, ayusin mo
Oy,
yan.
wala. Ano ka ba?
Masaya naman si PB sa buhay niya, ano ba?
Oo nga. Ay,
Saya nga niya.
ano, ay, pumipiyo, kaya pala nasasaktan. Ikaw naman, PB. Oo, PB.
Alam mo namang
That's why
iba-iba yung klase ng
nagtatago,
basher. Merong
walang
individual, merong group.
Oy,
Shoutout to sa nasa
Ayusin
baba.
oy, walang grupo, PB. Yung mga, ang tinatawag yung mga basher, yung kunyari, mga kalabasa, tapos yung mga, yun talaga nababash sa akin na mga, alam mo yun, yung, merong nagpapanggap.
Can I just say something? When you
Yes, go ahead.
Mga kalabasa. Okay. So, don't bash me for saying this, ha? Sa akin lang, ha? I'm just trying to understand everyone's different point of view at saka yung mga perspective nila and where they stand sa mga linalaban nila. Sa akin, nakikita ko naman na, you know, in the beginning, maybe they believe the fact na talagang tumutulong naman si
Norman, yeah.
right? Pero they probably didn't realize na yung mga tulong niya may kapalit na in a sense na there's a victim behind it. At saka yung mga pera na ginagamit niya sa mga tulong niya ay hindi naman sa kanya kundi sa mga victims. Diba?
Recycled.
Well, if it's recycled, it would have been good. Pero yung mga investment hindi bumabalik. Okay, principle lang or
yeah.
You know, principle lang sinasabi natin. Pero talagang it becomes a borderline of stealing it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's true.
Yeah, so that's why there's such a thing as scamming, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So now, or solicitation, you know, or what's another attorney
Budol.
form of
I think
stealing in legal terms?
Estafa.
Hello, shout out,
Oh,
Stella
yan,
Marie.
estafa pa. You know, so basically, I think for me is that, you know, they have their own principle, but maybe it's just misguided with this. But now that all the truth is coming out, I don't know, once again,
parang
they have
maingay. Let me just check.
FLM is not FLM, hindi Norman Mangusin. Diba? And that's one of the reasons why he was denied bail, because they cannot come up with his tunay na identity niya kundi bumabalik lagi as a Norman Mangusin. Diba?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's obvious naman na what they're doing.
Kayo ha, mga what they call kalabasa warriors, I'm just saying na kayo baka misunderstood lang kayo in some way.
Well, parang yan, iba-ibang category. Merong intended na talagang manloko lang kasi they just play around with the stories. They continued making up stories kasi ginagawa nilang milking.
May subscribers sila. So they're
parang ginagawang milking cow or something.
Yeah.
They're after yung mga donations.
Yeah.
Tapos parang kanina, parang may nabasa ako na parang nagpapaano sila yung parang petition, tapos parang magsa-side up kami $8. I don't know how true that is. Nakita ko lang somehow sa isang newsfeed or something na magsa-sign up ka ng petition, parang siguro si Kulao, tapos may $8 na amount. So ang dami nilang ways to yung iba naman totally blinded lang talaga or totally hindi nag-iisip.
May mga receipts silang binibigay sa mga donations nila?
I don't think, I don't know, but I don't think, probably not. I don't think so. Because naman talaga ang tendency, tapos yun nga yung mga, yung concern natin, yung mga donation na without transparency, alam mo yun, na parang sinasabi lahat, tutulong kami, and then you just keep sending money kasi nga, sila blinded, so they keep, pero ang nun, transparency, wala. So walang, you don't know kung ano yung binigay sa wala masamang tumulong, pero kung tumulong ka na lang, kung i-direct mo yung tulong, yung sinasabi nga natin. O Mama Sally, kamusta na yung hair mo? Ano nang bagong hair mo? Meron ka ba diyang, brunette, blonde?
Ito na nga, ako si Dora the Explorer.
The Explorer.
Actually, maganda yung mga sinabi nyo, pero it begs certain questions to be answered. First, kay Ma'am Sharon, yung how you described him, isn't that comparable? And this is the comparison that's being made by his supporters. Wouldn't that comparison draw something near the description of folklore na si Robin Hood, who steals from the rich or who scams from the rich in modern times and gives it to the poor? But that would draw that comparison. What would you say to that?
Okay, I have an answer to that. Attorney Paradiso, right? Okay. No, I have okay. When you say Robin Hood, right? Firstly, you have to know the story or the history of Robin Hood. So he was actually one of the I guess soldiers, sabihin natin, of King, sino ba yung pangalan ng King?
Richard.
Yes. King Richard, right? So pumunta siya, he crusaded for King Richard. Okay, but did you know na before he went to fight for King Richard, may block of land siya. When he came back, nawala yung block of land niya, at the person na kumuha na yan ay yung ba yun? Sino bang pangalan na yan?
Prince John.
Hindi, Prince John. Hindi naman si Prince John. Ikaw naman.
The one who succeeded Richard was John. Pero yung sheriff of Nottingham, yung nandun sa Nottingham.
Yes, Nottingham. Okay. So yung so pagbalik niya ni Robin Hood, nawala yung block of land niya. It was stolen. So nagalit siya. So ang ginawa niya, instead of focusing on what he had lost, he focused on the people that nawala rin. So what I'm trying to say is the people that are defending FLM are the people that haven't lost anything. Pero pag ipasok mo ang pera at sabihin ko sa inyo, kasi wala kayong nawala, so therefore, hindi nyo nararamdaman ang mga tao na nabibictimize ni Norman Mangusin. Now, if you put yourself in our shoes, where you've become a victim of scamming, I'm sure na you don't want to even lose 1,000 pesos of your money when you can buy something else that's more important, especially in the pandemic. Okay? So, people who have been scammed of money, people na wala ng mga pera, will understand the plight of the mga victims.
Yeah.
I think that's the message that gets lost here. In the perspective of the victims, the perspective of those na loko ni Norman Mangusin. And if you lose that, you lose the sense of he has to be held accountable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Diba? He has to answer for his sins. Diba?
Correct.
Kasi ang sinasabi nila, parang tumulong lang, that's enough. Kasi they don't hear the perspective of the victims. So I think it's really important na marinig yung perspective ng victims.
Sinong tao that you know, attorney, na nakukulong because they're helping? Do you know anyone?
Wala.
Diba? Oh.
Wala akong kliyente ho na nakukulong.
Pero alam mo, pero that's funny kasi early part nito mga yung part na yan between Kulaong and yung mga anti and the pros. Pag umakit ka dun sa nila, sa LS nila, ang tanong nila, bakit? Na-scam ka ba? Or there's even one person na sabi, wala namang nai-scam, sino ba nai-scam? So parang inaano nila na walang nai-scam, parang paano si Sharon, yung si alam mo yon, ang daming na-scam, pero parang anong tawag nun? Hindi nila ina-acknowledge na meron talagang naloko,
You know
ganun.
why? You know why? Because they cannot put themselves in other people's shoes, and that's called empathy.
Yeah.
Why they can't understand that is because they haven't lost anything. Kasi ang
Yeah.
nakikita nila or they're expecting si yung kulaong will
And
come and
nakakulong.
no na tutulungan sila.
Yeah.
They're still holding on a hope na yung mga
Yeah.
kulaong pero nasa kulungan siya. Do you really think na yung mga tao that have been waiting sa mga utang na pera na nakuha ni Kulaong? Like for example, sa akin lang I've been waiting for over 3 years na bumalik yung pera ko. Kasi sinabi niya, ibabalik ko yan sa'yo. So sa akin utang yan.
Yeah. Pero of course, wala na.
Nag-promise siya sa akin. Okay? So itong mga tao, wala namang silang binigay sa kanya. Tapos, you know, they're expecting na
something in return, na may bibigay. They're expecting some
yung mga bigas.
help.
So, yes. So, the question is, you know, what is your dignity worth? Bigas lang ba? You know, what is the life of a victim's worth? Bigas lang ba? Kalabasa lang ba?
Tapos kayo mga kunyari ikaw na biktima ka, tapos they heard you, and then parang ikaw pa ngayon yung parang ikaw na yung pinalabas na masama na that you're making up stories, that it didn't really happen.
Yes.
Mga
And this
ganon.
is something na victim ka na nga, tapos binibictimize ka pa ng mga bashers niya. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Shout out to Sansu. Did I say it right? Sansu. Big noob. Shout out sa'yo. Thanks for stopping by.
That was a good question too, attorney.
Yeah.
Yung sinabi
Yeah.
Chismoso lang ho kasi ako, Ma'am Sharon. Kaya...
No, kasi totoo naman. Like, if they're going to compare si Norman kay
Robin Hood,
they have to know yung story of Robin Hood. Si Robin Hood nawalan ng malaking land. And can you imagine, you went and fought for your country, tapos pagbalik mo, nawala? O, galit siya. How is he going to fight for a revenge? Diba? So, pinasok lahat niya yung galit niya sa Sheriff of Nottingham. Binalik niya yung mga kayamanan, yung mga, he feels that, because na-feel niya na, is this how it feels like to have nothing?
Yeah.
Diba?
Oy, sabi ni Mama Sally, okay Mama Sally, ingat. May bisita daw siya.
Hello guys, may dumating na bisita.
Okay, Mama Sally. Talk to you later.
Miss Sharon, thank you.
Yes,
wag mo masyadong damdamin
subscribers, Ate Sally Tita Sally. I'm one of your subscribers.
Okay.
Wag mo masyadong andito lang ako. Kung kailangan mo akong kausap, andito lang ako, ha? Wag mo masyadong
Rumeresback ngayon, Aboy. Rumeresback si Kent Garcia.
Wag kang ma-stress, Mama Sally, ma-depress. Tawagan mo lang kami.
Ako pa. Seryoso. Sige na, bye-bye.
Hindi.
Bye, Mami Sally.
Bye, Mama Sally. I know a lot of people, kasi over na nga, nakakulong na, tapos sasabihin nila, pero parang hindi ko maalala kung si Tito Jun ba Tito Jun, nakamute ka, kung si Tito Jun ba may ba siya, may history ba siya na-meet niya ba si hindi. I don't know if may, parang nalimutan ko na story. Nalimutan ko na story ni Tito Jun. Tito Jun, nakamute ka.
Kumakain. Nagla-lunch ka rin. Nakamute ka.
Tito Jun, nakamute ka. Unmute ka. Ayan.
Hindi na.
Na-meet mo ba na-meet mo ba si Kulaong before? I don't remember. I mean, I don't know the background. Parang...
Yeah. I met him late 2018.
Oo, naalala ko na. Okay. I know. Okay. I got na. Parang nire-recall ko, na-meet mo nga. Okay. Oo, yun nga pala yung nalimutan ko lang yung kwento na yun. Now I recall. Okay. I got. Alam mo yan, Sharon, na na-meet ka rin si Kulaong. Yeah, they met like in
How did you meet
2018
Sir Jun?
sa Shangri-La daw.
Ah, Shangri-La. As a
Siya
what?
nila Makati.
Businessman?
Oo.
Did he introduce himself as a businessman? Yan ang
Ano
sinasabi ko.
introduction sa'yo? Oh, I think that's probably was the background, no? Tito Jun, businessman siya. Siyempre, pag mga ganun naman, mahina ang internet, Tito Jun.
Actually, ang kami,
Napuputol ka.
may na dito eh.
Oo.
Actually, ang kamiting ko noon yung boss niya, si Bernard Chong. And he was there. Kaya nung pinakilala sa akin na he's a Marcos, tiningnan ko siya. Sabi ko, I was thinking he's your driver. Yeah. Yeah.
And he looks like one.
Sihan lang natin, may mga nasasaktan, Mayor Jun. Sihan lang natin.
No, hindi. Ano na yan? Hindi. Ano naman, na-explain naman ni Miss Sharon sa mga nakikinig before. Ang nakita naman ni Miss Sharon, yun nga yung tipong pagtulong, yung puso. Just like na yung mga rest ng followers ng mga defender, nakita rin nila yung pagtulong na pinangangatawanan nila until today. And yun din naman ang nakita ni Miss Sharon nung time na yun. Parang na-explain niya na yun. Di ba, minsan hindi naman in physical appearance or anything.
Correct.
Nalabas ko.
I'm trying to help Miss Sharon
Yung
to
unang labas ko rin, nagsabi ako na sa lodo ako sa'yo. Kasi tumutulong siya.
Mm-mm.
Kaya,
Pero sa totoo lang, sorry sa mga kalabasa, I don't acknowledge his tulong. Kasi yun may kapalit.
Well, sa akin naman, now that he's arrested, there is a possibility that it will all of yung mga tulong niya can become a proceed of crime. Tama o mali ako, attorney?
Yung mga tulong niya, pero paano mo pa mababawi? How can you get it back? Kasi when you say proceeds of a crime, it has to be accosted. It has to be,
tama.
Diba, put
Parang
in
may mga
the jurisdiction of the courts.
I mean, I know
it
when
was
it comes
already
to-
given away. Oh.
Yeah, I know. When it comes to yung mga rights, that's hard to return. Pero, sa akin naman, masusukan nyo ba yan? You know what I mean? Like, hindi. So for me, kapag naalam ko na yung no way. I rather beg on the street. Thank you very much than to accept anything from someone like him. Especially if I've already know yung character ng isang tao. No, thank you.
And somehow, parang
Here's the question. Tingnan mo yan.
Hindi ka, go ahead. Go ahead, Attorney Aboy.
The question is, apparently everyone filed. The case that's being highlighted is the non-bailable case of human trafficking, anti-human trafficking. Pero I know, and I assume that a lot of people filed, especially those who were scammed. I just don't know the status. Hopefully their lawyers are, and I think they would, hopefully their lawyers moved that his assets be frozen in order to pay for the damages that he or his group would be found liable for later on, if
Yes.
there would be any. But what boggles me is apparently these assets or his properties are being entrusted to someone else. It's not
Correct.
frozen by the court. So I don't know really the status. I follow his story. I follow the teleserye because it's frankly entertaining.
It's
especially
just
Sabi.
entertaining.
I'd rather watch the other side than this side because they're more entertaining. They're more creative.
That's why I also beg to ask that question as well. The same thing sa'yo as Attorney Renato, na how can that be entrusted sa isang tao when sometimes kapag, diba, yung mga assets is from a proceed of crime, all assets are frozen until such time na sentencing comes up, whether he's found guilty or not. And if he's found guilty, yung mga assets are then dispersed, diba? So there's liquidations ng mga assets, and the first thing you do is to pay all of the victims, diba? Oh, so now how can you do that when you're entrusting someone? Like I don't understand.
I think the logical answer would be it's not frozen. No one has moved for the
Yeah.
assets to be frozen.
Yeah.
The
So I
question,
think
ako
that's
may question, may asset pa ba siya?
Wala nga. That's the reason why probably they cannot kasi according
Oh.
kay Attorney Vic, Attorney yung from the crime division from NDBI, diba?
si Director Vic, Director Vic
Director
Lorenzo.
Vic, yes, when he was interviewed by Tulfo in Action, Sir Rafi Tulfo, tinanong ni Sir Rafi na meron ba siyang asset, sinabi niya wala.
Oh, wala.
Car, houses, or anything like that. So what they can freeze. Pero that's the thing na the question is may asset siya, which is the income that's coming from yung niya sa
Yung YouTube.
Oh.
Exactly. Actually, yeah.
Okay.
Sa mga lawyers, sa mga nagrereklamo, there you go.
Attorney Aboy.
Logical thinking lang ito, ha. So I'm not
Yeah.
So in reality walang asset pero dahil sa may hindi ba pwede? Ang tanong ako, Attorney Aboy, this because kunyari now na hindi pa naman siya nako-convict. So yung kunyari parang property niya rin yan eh. Kunyari may YouTube channel siya and I'm sure it's earning is namo-monetize. Ano yan? May ba yan? Pwedeng ng
It's an
korte
income.
or may magagawang may
I'm Ate Mia, let me draw the line. I do not know the laws of YouTube. It's under
okay.
international. Although it's under international law, I think it's based in one particular
Parang may
country,
jurisdiction, ganon?
whose laws I am unfamiliar with when it comes to YouTube. However,
okay.
yung premise ni Ma'am Sharon is these are properties, these are income attributable kay Norman Manghusing and kay Francis Leo Marcos. Therefore, a court order theoretically could freeze these profits and be put into the custody of the courts, into the care of the courts, in order to be used as payment for damages that are to be adjudged later on sa mga victims, if there would be any, diba? So I think that would be a good premise na ipa-freeze. I think the court has the powers, since it would be income, to tell YouTube that all proceeds of the channel of Francis Leo Marcos, since it's registered to him, be directed to the custody of the courts. Theoretically,
Tama.
it's a good premise.
Yeah, pwede.
Yeah.
Ay, mi Sharon, may tanong si Iloco Pinoy, may message niya ako. Nag-drive daw kasi siya. Sabi niya, paki-ask daw kay Sharon, bakit parang familiar ka daw sa last name ni Sir June? Saan mo daw nadinig yung last name niya?
Sa either sa social media?
Maybe yung siguro yung mga first interview niya siguro, yung mga
maybe, but I can't figure out which social media, which one of you vloggers na
okay. But I think at one point si Tito Jun may interview sa UTW channel. So maybe baka daw meron siya at least mga twice siya na interview. So baka daw madinig.
Yeah, okay.
Kasi kasama siya nga ni ng first president sa Hawaii eh. So kasama siya sa Hawaii.
Okay. Ikaw yun. All right. Okay. Yeah. So it was one of your interviews, Sir June. Yes. Now that you said that, yes.
Yeah. Yan yung kwento niya, napasama siya sa Hawaii. So, guys, 2 hours na tayo. So, I think thank you so much for coming and thank you Attorney Aboy, Sir June, Mama Sally, Miss Sharon, Pinoy Breezy sa pagsama sa ating live stream tonight. And
good night,
sa
Pinoy
mga
Breezy.
sige, na tayo.
Tulog na.
parting words tayo. Si si Tito Jun. Anong masasabi mo sa mga in either way, enough is enough in politics, in social media, anything that what you say is that's enough. Or enough. That's enough.
Masasabi ko lang, maraming salamat sa pag-invite mo sa akin, Mia. And nice to see Sharon. And I think wala na si PB. And of
Nandiyan
course,
pa si PB.
always there. Alam niyo pa ba? Yung enough is enough. Sometimes, kahit sa politics, sometimes pwede mong yung enough is enough. Kasi marami ding pasaway. Hindi nila, kahit alam nilang binabali nila ang rules. So, enough is enough. Magtulungan. Then, kahit sa friendship, ang masasabi ko lang, if you really do not know the person well, huwag na magbigay ng adjective na nakakasakit. Because masakit yun lalo na kung pinangalanan. So, tama yung enough is enough. As I've said, maraming bagay na pwedeng yung enough is enough. As I've said, and I'm so happy na tinanong mo, Mia, yung enough is enough.
Labas nyo na yung mga hugot nyo sa enough is enough. Ikaw, Attorney Aboy, what can you say about yung mga last word or like in any in everything? It applies.
I've told my opinion or my take on enough is enough when it comes to people. Pero I'll give my take now on enough is enough when it comes to the issue of why we're all here. Diba? Sabi nila the issue of FLM Norman is already
over.
They're fed up with the issue already. For me, with the issue when it comes to the personality of Norman Munoz, he's already inside. Sige, tama na. Pero the issue still persists when it comes to his followers and the news that comes out about him, yung mga fake news, and continuous influx of money being generated because of these fake news, because of people using his name, people using his apparent image. I don't know, his lore, his legend na lang yan. His legend. That's something that you can just stand by and let kasi nakakulong na, dapat pabayaan na yan. Pabayaan mo na kumita sila. No, I don't think.
I don't agree that either.
I don't think we should stop there, diba? So there would be, you have to differentiate when you say enough is enough. You have to differentiate what is enough for you, what particular subject, what particular person, what particular thing is enough for you, because hindi siya dapat generalize, hindi siya dapat when you say enough you just withdraw, tapos na lahat. You forget everything that comes with it, you forget all the consequences that come with it. That would be wrong.
Dapat hindi totally iwanan kasi meron pang nagpapakalat. Ikaw, Miss Sharon, what can you say enough is enough in whatever areas?
Sa akin, when you say enough is enough, is actually yung failure to set the boundaries at saka yung failure to hold people accountable. Kasi kapag hindi natin ina-acknowledge na nagkukulang din tayo to set yung mga yung mga expectations natin, or to even fail to set that boundaries to other people, to say, okay, this is what I don't like. For example, just this instance lang about yung interviews. Before I accepted the interviews, I could easily say to you, these are my limitations. I don't want this.
Yeah.
Okay, so which I didn't do. So anyway, pero I could easily have imposed that, diba?
Yeah.
So by my level of understanding tayong dalawa, how this Zoom meeting is going to take place. So that's the same thing na pagdating sa mga ibang tao for ourselves. Kasi failure to do so can really lead us to being hurt. So set expectation, set that boundaries, you know what I mean? And,
I agree.
And make people accountable for the things that they say and do. And this is why when we talk about Kulaong, for example, right? There's so many years that he has evaded the law. Now it's time for him to answer it. Now that he's in jail, let the law decide. That's the reason why we have that. So that otherwise, what's the point in having a judicial system if we don't trust the process, diba? So
Yeah.
you know, but sa akin naman, you know, I do have faith in the system. So, and I hope and pray na there is going to be some form of justice as well, you know, as they say, you know, justice before mercy, diba? So
Yeah.
justice is being accountable sa mga ginagawa natin, and that is the limitations of our freedom. Okay.
Yeah.
And then before you know, before you are given any form of forgiveness or mercy, so to speak, you have you have to have some form of restitution, diba?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. At I agree with Miss Sharon. Alam mo, actually, Miss Sharon, I was supposed to ask you what's the, pero ano, ako naman, ako talaga, ano, when I invited you here, I don't have the intention to dig in more because I already know you've been through a lot of interviews and a lot of people already heard your stories. So for me, I just invited you here as a friend to discuss the general discussion that we have because I respect your privacy as well. Even though, sometimes yung paulit-ulit, I mean, kasi kilala na
mm,
naman kita.
yes,
So I
yes.
know that I would
Only
respect you.
this one, and I'm grateful. For me, it's not really repetitive, only his name. Pero
Yeah.
the topic of enough is enough. It's good
Mm-hmm.
to actually use a certain foundation that people can relate to what we are talking about. It's just so
Yeah.
na
Yeah.
people can relate to, our listeners can relate to what we are saying, di ba?
Mm.
And
And,
ginagamit
and
natin si Kulaong as an experiment or as an example na ano. So people
yeah.
can know what we're talking
And
about.
also my intention is
I
for
have a
me
question.
to, yeah, go ahead, Miss, go ahead,
Because I
Attorney
was
Jun.
intrigued. I was really intrigued by what Ms. Sharon said about forgiveness. There has to be restitution first. So it begs the question for me, as sabi ko naman, ang dami kong tanong kasi chismoso ko. Being the chismoso
Yeah.
that person that I am.
Uh-uh.
So does that mean that forgiveness comes at a cost? It has
It
to come with the cost.
depending on the gravity of your errors, di ba?
Okay.
Because di ba, if you kill someone, you know, look at the Ten Commandments. There's the reason why God gave us those commandments, and our laws are set and bounded by those Ten Commandments. If you look at all our laws, it's all around the Ten Commandments. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, and every
Mm-hmm.
single one of those um, errors, or if we break the commandment or we break the law, there's consequences. It's just depends
Mm-hmm.
on the gravity of the situation. So when we come to restitution, just like when we have children, you know, if you kept saying don't touch that fire, tapos ginagawa nila, eventually if the child is curious enough and they touch the fire, consequences, they get burnt. Diba? So sasabihin natin, so the consequences is
exactly.
they get burnt. So they learn from that mistake. So that, you know, that was, of course, the person can say, look, I'm really sorry I didn't listen to you, you know. So there's a gravity, so that when a child grows up into a teenager, to adulthood, they already know what is
Mm-hmm.
their limitations. They already fear certain part of the law na if they break something, they have to either fix
That
it.
big consequences.
Yeah, they either have to fix it or they have to pay for it. And if they can't pay for it, they go to jail or at least something else, diba? So that's what I'm saying. It's only depending on the gravity of what that sin is. So, for example, death. How do you pay the death off? What is the restitution of death when you've already committed that crime? How do you give the life back, diba? So they have to, that's why the law is set so that there is the restitution for the victim.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So yun lang. Kasi sa atin, we don't hold the person's life, only God does. Diba?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but in the law of the land, we also have to follow yung law of the land. So nakakalimutan natin yan as human beings na we have two laws, the law of God and the law of the land. And because we are God-fearing people, we also follow the law of God, diba?
Yeah. Sharon has a big heart,
Well,
like.
yeah, I know. So I'm sorry. I listened to what she said, and um, kasi for me, forgiveness, it sometimes it would come at a cost, but most of the time it doesn't. It has to be when person is, really sincere in asking for forgiveness. It's not at home. This is my opinion, Ma'am Sharon, Ate Mia, Mayor June. It's not about restitution or paying for
Mhm.
what you've done or paying for the damages that you caused. It's for me, forgiveness is more about reparation. You repair what was damaged. It's not about bringing back what was damaged. You know,
Mm.
it can be repaired by a simple sorry. Sometimes it would be repaired by something more. Diba? Tama
Mm.
naman it really depends on the situation, but
Yeah.
Mm.
Because saying sorry is
most of
one
the
thing.
time,
Mm.
Saying
yeah.
sorry is
So
one thing,
most of
but
the
actually
that
forgiving is different.
Mhm.
yes, ma'am. Kaya nga sinasabi ko that I agree with you that forgiveness would be it would depend at what cost or at what would be enough to repair what have you what have you what damage that that has been caused. Um, kasi when you say when you say uh, it comes with the cost. It for me kasi parang you have to bring back what was lost. And sometimes
Mhm.
it's impossible to do that eh. Sabi ko nga, for
Yeah.
me siguro and the message that I'd like to impart is, yeah, you have to be accountable but for those people naman na who have been wrong,
Mhm.
wag ko puro I don't know how to say this.
Revenge.
It's not yeah, exactly. It's not, when you talk about the laws of our land and you talk about the laws of God, it's not about retribution, which is revenge. It's
Mm.
not about it's not about cost.
Restitution. You're
It's not
talking about
about
restitution.
gain.
Mhm.
It's yeah, restitution. It's about, repairing both if it needs to be repaired by replacing it or it can be replaced by a simple sorry.
Sorry.
It's about
Mhm.
two aspects. For the sinner, it has to be about reparation, saying sorry and paying for what you've done. And for
Mhm.
the state and for us na who was wrong, there has to
Mm.
be reform do sa taong nagkasala. We have to see reform.
Mm.
So it has to
Yes.
be
Yeah.
based on
Yes.
it has to be based on reformation rather than
Agree.
retribution.
Agree.
I
So
agree.
you
That's
don't
why.
go ahead.
That's why. When it comes to death penalty, I'm like this because I have the feeling of the same thing to you. Like how can a person then change and if they or reform in a sense, if that is taken away from them because of the death penalty. So
Mhm.
so that's why I'm 50-50. Pero sa akin, you have a point in the sense na that they have to but that's the thing, will they change kung nagsorry sila tapos sabihin mo yeah, okay, I'm
I
fine, like
forgive
si
you.
Norman. Look at si Norman. Balik tayo dyan ha, we're just using him as an
Sing as
example.
example, yeah.
An example, how many times paulit-ulit the same thing over and over and over again. How do we know na even kahit na nasa jail siya and he's facing yung mga sentences niya through jail, back in and out siya sa court hearing niya and back in sa jail, is he learning from every experience that he's facing? Hindi, I don't think so. If
Yeah.
I'm right in my suspicion na may narcissistic personality disorder siya, the only pity that you can see in him is the fact that he got caught. That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
Oo.
Mhm.
So that's why it's very hard for me to feel sympathetic sa
Mm.
ano niya, because I know na no, lahat yung mga crying niya are all crocodile tears only because so that he can show some pity. But I really doubt very much na he feels
Yeah.
sorry for anything at all. Mm-mm.
He's
I
crying because
would
he was caught.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine being in your shoes. Sabi ko, I couldn't, I couldn't even begin to understand the emotions you're feeling. So, diba, akin lang, it's a general perspective of, the concept of forgiveness and what does it take for a person to be forgive another. But,
Yeah.
sabi ko, I would even, I wouldn't even go there na try to understand the emotions you're going through or the
And that's the thing, an attorney, yung closure ng ibang tao. Sa akin ha, I'm past that. I've moved on. Wala na akong issue. Kasi kung if I still have an issue, I could literally still consider going for the to my case against him. Pero sa akin, I have to weigh up my option. So I just have to sometimes, again, forgiveness is not about the other person, but for yourself.
It's about you. Yeah, it's true.
About myself.
Exactly. That's it.
So
exactly.
So I have to be kind to myself. What am I going to do? Beat myself up?
Like, oh yeah.
That I've made or learn from it. Diba? So that's why I look for the aspect of gratitude na lang. Na out of all the things na nangyari. With the experiences with him, the other side of that is that I've met so many beautiful people like you guys, mga CPRA, mga KWs, even the Calabasa warriors, I sometimes pity them more so than
the antis, yeah.
Yeah, than the Kalaong, because I can see them as another future
victim.
Yeah,
they are.
Sila, look at yung sino ba yung isa na tapos nagbaliktad na yung story niya. Ano bang pangalan niya? Anyway, one of the so-called Calabasa warriors no longer there. O nag-aaway din sila.
There are a lot of them though, yeah.
Oo. So
anyway, no, actually that's trending, yung away-away. It's a trend.
Kasi
yung group is always it's a normal thing.
Beshi, hello. Good morning. Patapos na, tsaka ka lang ismulpot.
Hi, Natsu. Shout out, Natsu. Ay, meron pala ako may sinabi siya kanina, nakalimutan na, ipot ng manok tilaok. Parang sabi niya, may sinabi siya, parang may crush siya kay Miss Sharon. Parang na-conclude. Parang may sinabi kasi siya, nakita niya si Miss Sharon. Ganon. Yung isang viewer natin, may sinabi siya kanina kaya lang babasahin ko, tas tumaas na siya, so hindi ko na nabasa.
Si PB, very quiet.
Ay, eto pala sabi niya, nang makita ko si Miss Sharon, mukhang kakalimutan ko na sabong. So, I think, the cockfighting thing, cockfighting, yung manok, yeah. It's parang yung isang yung gustong-gusto ni Norman natin, nagsasabong siya before, di ba? Yung sa sabong ng manok.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I heard all yung little stories.
Alam mo ba Attorney Aboy na si Miss Sharon at saka yung first wife ni Norman Mangusim, nag-usap sila. Yeah, they were friends now.
Yeah.
They were friends now, or they were friends? They're friends to the punyeta.
No, they become friends.
Now or friends now?
No, they become friends now. Yeah, they're now because of parang sa interview ni Aaron Rock, so they met like over the interview. Yeah. So now, nag-usap kayo through Messenger or do you talk over the telephone? Yeah. So somehow may mga tingnan natin yung mga magandang nangyari, like now nakilala si Attorney Abo, si Sharon, si Attorney June, si Pinoy Breezy na basher.
Kahit yung basher natin, parang
Oo. Ay, PB, ikaw naman, ano masasabi mo sa enough? Ano nang enough is enough sa'yo? PB, andiyan ka pa ba? Baka tulog
na daw tayo. Tulog na siya.
Mamaya may ginagawa siguro si PB. Ako naman, siguro enough is enough. Ang dami kong enough is enough. Parang enough na sa fake news na mga kalabasa, yung mga making up stories ngayon na may lumalabas. Parang tama na yan yung mga istorya na ganyan. In politics naman, tama na yung mga fake news. Parang magtulungan na lang sa politics na wag na magsiraan. Kunyari kahit yung mga sa Sansa Roas Boulevard, laging may magsasabi. Parang, I think yung bickering, fighting, quarreling, laging sa social media nangyayari. So, sa akin, tama na.
Eh,
Pero ano, ako naman pero isa kong natutunan, kasi yung siguro nga very personal sa akin yung mga nami-meet ko online. So, I think, may nag-advise nga din sa akin, minsan narinig ko si Atty. Aboy, yung, sabi nga ni Atty. Aboy, hayaan mo na yung mga kung sino may mga gusto mag-away, hayaan mo na, magbugahan na sila dyan para tapos na, di ba? Pag nasabi na lahat. So, and I think they are matured enough to handle their differences. So, they're matured enough yung parang saan yung enough nila, saan yung boundaries nila para matapos na. Pero ako, I'm so grateful dahil I met a lot of friends sa pagiging dito sa sa quarantine na nangyari. Ako enough na sa COVID, enough sa mga naha-hospital. Alam mo yun, ang dami ng mga pero thank God kasi somehow we're blessed na hindi naman tayo naapektuhan kahit na nagkaroon ng COVID, we're all good. So, yun lang at maraming salamat, Attorney Aboy, Sharon, Tito June, at sa lahat ng mga kasama pa natin hanggang ngayon. Thank you so much for being with us. Until next week, thank you very much.
thank you for
And
having me.
bye.
Thank you. See
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good day and God bless you all.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.